cream takes right now?
Ice cream. I love ice cream, but I'm not one of those that gets crazy. I like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. My favorite is like chocolate chip, just regular chocolate chip, or it's called the Great Divide, and it's half vanilla, half chocolate. Love it. Can't get enough of it.
Half vanilla, half chocolate. The Great Divide. I don't think I had that one before.
Yeah, it's Bluebell. So I mean, you're a Texas guy, right? So you know all
yeah.
about Bluebell. So Bluebell, people don't know if you're not from Texas or you don't get Bluebell where you are. It doesn't matter what you have; it's not the same as Bluebell. So that's just me. It's just reality.
At the end of the day, you're right. If it's not Bluebell, it's not the best.
That's right.
I don't know what the heck they put in there to make theirs so good, but
a little bit of heaven. You just put a little bit of heaven in there. You know?
Okay, and where they getting a little bit of the heaven from, man?
I don't know, but I love it.
A little bit. You know what? I'm gonna put that in my phone. I'm gonna save that, man. A little bit of heaven. That's what they put in.
A little bit of heaven.
Hey, as you guys come in, we still got people rolling in. We just kicked this live off, so make sure y'all hit that like button for me, man. We got Mr. Ghost Tactical here with us today, and man, I just want to get to know him a little bit better, find out what he all about, how you got into some of the stuff that you're in, and man, you laugh. Why you laugh, man?
Man, it's luck. I mean, you know, it's just like anything else, right place, right time kind of stuff, and it's just one of those things where, yeah, it's just been a wild ride, man. You guys you're doing great, man. You haven't been doing this very long, man, and you're killing it. So I need to be asking you questions right now.
Oh man, that's not true, man. We just getting going, man. You know, Zach and I, we've been knowing each other for about, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years. And what's up, Bruce? And man, we just decided at the beginning of this year we were gonna go in and do this for 2 years. We had a two-year plan, and we said we'll give it a shot. And if it works, we'll keep doing it. And if it don't, you know, after 2 years, we'll cut our losses and we'll move on. We'll find something else to do. So we've been loving it so far. We've been making a lot of contacts in the industry. We've been having a lot of fun. And as long as we keep having fun, Hootie Hoo, what's up, baby? As long as we keep having fun, then, you know, we'll probably keep doing it. You know what I mean?
You know, it's one of those things I started 4 years ago. It was June of 2017 is when I had put my first video out. And it was just one of those things where I was at the range shooting. I was getting ready for a big competition shoot down in Fort Worth, and just outside of Fort Worth. And I was doing some stuff, and there's a guy at the range like, "What are you doing?" You know, and I was like, "Well, I'm getting ready for a shoot and all that." And they're like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. I always want to do that. You should do a video on how to kind of get started." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "YouTube." I'm like, "I don't watch YouTube." I really don't. I don't watch a lot of gun stuff, but I didn't watch YouTube at all, hardly. And I was like, okay. So I literally, my first video was most I'm literally holding myself like selfie style. It was just god awful terrible. And so I put it out there, and it was like how to get started in IDPA, the kind of gear you use. And like people started watching it, and like I've got people subscribing to the channel. I'm like, who are these idiots that are subscribing to this thing? And 4 years later, man, it's been a wild ride. I've made, you know, some of my best friends in this world right now I've met through YouTube, which is kind of crazy, you know?
Yep. Hey, as you guys come in, make sure y'all hit that like button for us. Carmen Q, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, that's cool, man. So I know for us, you know, I watch a lot of gun stuff on YouTube, a lot of gun channels. I've been hunting my whole life. You know, I grew up in the country. I live in the city now. I live about 45 minutes from the country, but I grew up, you know, shooting and hunting my whole life. And so I was already watching shooting videos and already interested in that kind of stuff. And Zach and I met, like I said, about a decade ago. And one day he heard I was hunting. He was like, "Hey man, I don't know much about it, but I want to go check it out." So I was like, "All right, well, come on, you got a gun?" He was like, "No, I don't." Like, "You can borrow one of mine." So he got into it then and kind of fell in love. What's up, Jay? Delray, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And you know, that's kind of how we got started. And man, what's up, Mark? And we've just kind of gone from there, man. We got a lot of ideas. We got a lot of new stuff coming. We got a lot of ideas outside of just YouTube, you know, stuff we want to do and kind of branch out from the channel.
You've got to diversify
That's it.
if you're going to try to make any money whatsoever. I mean, it sounds you're going to make a little bit of money, very little money on YouTube. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
Is it enough to cover some of your expenses? Sure. Is it enough to, if you save it to buy different cameras and different things? Sure. But if you really want to try to make money, you've got to diversify your brand. And your brand is everything. So yeah, I would just sit there and say, and I haven't been doing this long, but I would say if there's any advice I can give, it's stuff that I've received from other people, is don't be afraid to try anything. Like literally try anything. If you think, man, that is crazy, no one's going to like that. Well, if it's crazy because no one's done it before, you don't know if people are going to like it. Right. So do it. And if it doesn't work, throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks. You never know.
See what sticks.
I guarantee you that Hickok never thought that shooting a pumpkin was going to blow him up to what he is now.
Right. I agree. So, we got our brand, we got our logo. You can see it right there. It is.
I like it. Yep.
I appreciate it, man. We're gonna try to use our brand, man, and just go out and branch out, and we got a bunch of different stuff, ideas that we got. And see where we can take this thing. Ultimately, we both got day jobs.
Same here. Yep, I understand. It's a grind, bro. It's a grind.
Right. And I don't plan on quitting my day job. Mama not gonna let me quit my day job anyway.
Man, I understand.
And we're just gonna see how far this thing can take us, man. But so I do have some pointed questions for you because I know you are ex-military.
Yep.
And so I got some questions about your time, your service. And I appreciate your service. Thank you for your service.
My pleasure.
But then I got some other questions, that kind of derive from that, just stuff. So for me, I took the ASVAB when I was in high school, like everybody else did. I scored in like 98th percentile. And I had this recruiter that was hounding me. He hounded me for a couple of years. Even after I moved out of my house, he started hounding me. What's up, J-Ro?
Right.
And really like that pawn shop. I appreciate it, Randy. We got some more pawn shops coming for you guys, man, real soon. And I did join. I think if I had to do my life over again, that's one of the things that I would have did. So I did get into corrections when I got out of college. I got into corrections and I got into policing for about 3 years. I don't do it anymore, but so I knew I wanted to do something in that realm. Just didn't work out. And but I think if I could live my life over again, that's one of the things I would have done. So, but for you, you just tell us a little bit tell us where you served, how long you served, what you did, and what you did when you were in.
Yeah, I joined the Marine Corps in 1994. Served for over 4 years. Ironically, it was so funny is I went in. I was kind of the same way. I scored. I basically aced the ASVAB except for one section, and I was told by this colonel that I could have any job that I wanted except for a mechanic. They do not want me as a mechanic, and I didn't know. I still don't know jack about fixing stuff. I'm certified YouTube, man. If it's on YouTube and it shows me how, I can fix stuff.
There you go. That's
I'm not a mechanic. They said you can do anything except for be a mechanic. Said grind on, because I don't want to be a mechanic. I went in Intel and did some other stuff throughout the after getting back from some places and all of that. And I really enjoyed it. Ironically, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I hated the Marine Corps. I was a young, stupid Marine that got out with some animosity towards one or two people. I was young and dumb, and I allowed one or two people to live in my brain rent free, if you will. And I allowed them to not only get out of the Marine Corps, but get out of the Marine Corps with animosity towards the Marine Corps. And I got out in 1998 and literally did not tell anyone I was a former Marine, didn't care about the Marine Corps until 9/11. And then I realized, okay, like, first of all, I realized I could still be called up because I had 5 years with my security clearance that I could still be called up. So I thought, well, maybe I'll get called up. So I start kind of getting that mindset type thing. But more importantly, I just realized that what I did meant something. And I was proud of it. But when I got out of the Marine Corps, I had hatred towards the Marine Corps because of a couple of people, not the Corps itself,
sure,
but a couple of people. I allowed a couple of people to ruin my experience in the Marines. And I look back on that, and like you said, you look back and say, that's something I wish I would have done. I look back and said, I wish I wouldn't have been so immature. At 20, I guess I was 23 years old. So that's something that I regret is looking back on that. So I ended my life as a Marine not the way that I wanted to. And so now what I do is I kind of overcompensate, if you will. Now I try to spread the gospel of the Marine Corps and do everything I can to support anything the Marine Corps initiatives are, and all that, and veterans themselves and all of that, because I feel bad for how I left my time, if that makes sense.
Right. So, I mean, you talked about being young. So my son, he's a football player. He's a college football player.
Right on.
And he's 21. So he's in that same age bracket. And there's been, you know, you're going to run into coaches that you like. You're going to run into coaches that are like you. And then you're going to run into coaches that for whatever reason, for lack of a better word, hate, they're strongly dislike. And it's one of the things that is don't allow a coach or a certain coach. My son's been playing football since he was 5. He's 21 years old. Something that you love, something that you're passionate for, that's something that you've done and loved your entire life. Don't let one person or one guy, like you said, live rent-free in your brain, because he lives his day to day. He doesn't even think about you at all. Like, he's doing his thing. Don't allow him to ruin this for you. Yeah. But again, you said you were young. My son's young. So at the time, I mean, I'm over 40 now. So I mean, I got a different brain at 40 than I had at 19, 20, 21, 22, almost.
I'm 46. If I would have known then what I know now, I'd probably stay in. I'd probably stay in. And I met my wife in Japan, where I was stationed over there for a little while. Okay. And I tried to get back over there for a 4-year tour. Would have been in a company tour, which means we could have gone back to where she's from. But once again, being an idiot, there are things that you regret in life. And so what you try to do is if you do allow someone to live rent free in your head, and you realize that and you move past that, then what you need to do is make up for that by spreading it to someone else and say, look, I've been there, done that. Don't let yourself fall into the trap of this. And like you with your son, don't do it. That person doesn't live. They don't go home thinking about, man, I really screwed over that guy today. They don't think that. But we go home going, I hate that guy. He's not thinking about us at home. That's the way it is.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. So that's one of the things that I have a daughter too. She's 18. She's in college now also. And that's one of the things I tell, both of my kids, at the end of the day, you don't allow someone else's unhappiness or whatever they'll say got going on live rent free in your brain, because like you just said, at the end of the day, they're not thinking about you. They're not thinking about it. It's making you miserable.
Yep.
And the other thing I like to tell them is at the end of the day, so like you said, for your example, you got in, you were miserable with 1 or 2 people, and frustrated your experience. But ultimately, what I try to teach them is, so that's something you've learned, and I try to pass on my nuggets to them and say, look, a smart person learns from their mistakes. A wise person learns from other people's mistakes.
Absolutely.
So I don't have to make every mistake that everyone else has made. I'm going to, I like to sit back and I like to watch and I like to say, oh,
observe everything.
What he did didn't work. I don't think I need to do that. And I think that's what separates, for me, smart people and wise people. Smart people, yeah, you're going to learn from your mistakes. But, if you got anyone listening here tonight, like, be wise and watch and learn from other people's mistakes, not just your own.
Yeah, I think that's something that is a life lesson for anyone, because like you said, acknowledging your own faults is one thing. Okay. We're all going to have to eventually acknowledge we have faults in our life. But acknowledging mistakes that are made around us, like you said, will help you not to have those faults in your own life down the road. It'll save you some agony. It'll save you some time to get to whatever goal that you have. Watch and learn. And that's what, you talk about, let's just take, for instance, the Marine Corps way. You get in as a 19-year-old or 18-year-old private, and you've got this 24, 25-year-old sergeant or whatever. Well, that dude was the same thing you were 6 years ago, and he's saying, if they're good NCOs and they're good leaders, I was fortunate to be around a lot of them. They're going to say, hey, look, I see you going down this path. I went down that path. Don't go that way. Go that way.
Right.
this is a better way. And you're like, oh, thank you. So that also helps us having a mentor also in life and being able, once you've made those mistakes and once you've observed all those other mistakes, be a mentor, pass that knowledge on. Don't be selfish and save it.
Well, and it's so hard at that age, because at that age we think we know it all. We think we're smart. We're like, oh man, I don't have to listen. And it's unfortunate for us as humans, because at that age, it doesn't matter black, white, Hispanic. None of that matters. We all think we're so dang smart at that age. And when I say all, the lion's share, and we don't need to listen. He's just old. He's over the hill. He don't know what he's talking about. And then at some point, you hit 30, 31, 32, and you start to say,
maybe I should have listened to that guy.
Yeah, maybe I should have. Unfortunately, it's too late for a lot of us at that point. Because we're not smart enough at 18, 19, 20, 21 to realize those people are actually trying to help us.
Yep. One of the things also is, and this is kind of going into leadership and being a leader in life or a mentor in life, is sometimes you have to allow people to make mistakes. You can't protect them from making mistakes. You can teach your kids, don't stick your finger in that fan. It's going to hurt. But eventually, if they want to, you're going to have to allow them to stick their finger in the fan, and then they'll learn, oh, you know what? Dad was right. That hurts. So sometimes you have to let people fail, because if you protect them and you become that safety net, they never truly learn what adversity is. And failing is what really pushes towards winning.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Failing is a huge teacher also. So sometimes, I mean, you don't want to let it.
No.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to. I wouldn't say one of those lessons need to be learned by letting the kid run out in the middle of the street. But there's smaller ones, yes, the way you can say, well, aren't you going to stop him from doing that? No, not this time. He'll fall. Whatever happened, then we can get up and we can talk.
My daughter's 24, and when she was like 20, we went through a time that we didn't talk much. She was 20 and in college and doing her thing and didn't need dad, and I went months without talking to her, and it was one of those things. It was the hardest thing for me to do. I was like, she has to live her life. She has to go make her own mistakes.
Yep.
I'm never going to allow her to get hurt. I'm never going to allow her to be in a position that is life-changing. But she's going to have to go make her own mistakes, because if I tell her this, she might do what I want her to do, but it's because I told her to.
Right.
Eventually, she'll learn, she'll make those mistakes because she made the mistake, or she made that decision, good or bad. That's how you. So yeah, I think you're right. Let them make those mistakes as long as they're not life altering. But as a father, you want to protect your kids,
Right. And it's tough. It's tough. It's tough sometimes to sit back and allow them to make some of those mistakes, knowing that you could probably force the issue, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's better to just let them make some of those mistakes.
And that's the hardest thing to do, man, is to watch your kids fail, knowing that they're going to fail, watching that train wreck coming, and you're like, that's going to be bad. It's hard to do, but sometimes those little bitty failures are what make a person. I don't know. It sounds hard.
Sure. So I gotta do it. So you said you were in the Marines. So how many different tours did you do? You mentioned living in Japan.
Yeah, I was spent some time overseas in Japan. I spent some time over Korea. Spent some time over mainland Japan. Spent some time over in Eastern Africa.
Okay, what countries in Africa?
Somalia.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So yeah, that was there, but mostly I was stationed in Japan, but I was only really in Okinawa probably about 5 months, 6 months total.
Okay.
Because we were in and out doing different things, but I love there. It's my favorite place in the world to this day. Obviously, I met my wife there.
Sure.
I'd live there if I could afford it. It's an expensive place to live, but it is the most beautiful place in the world. The people are phenomenal. I truly love Okinawa, and it's one of those things where my life changed because of the Marine Corps, because I never would have gone to Okinawa, Japan, if it wasn't for the Marine Corps. So I never would have met my wife. I wouldn't have my daughter. So it's kind of weird, but yeah, it's one of those things where I spent some time, and then spent some time over in stationed out at Camp Pendleton out in California. Spent some time on the East Coast for some school. So I was kind of a little bit everywhere.
Gotcha.
Been there, done that. I got out in '98, so the War on Terror was. I was in between the two Iraq wars, so I didn't have to go over there.
Gotcha. So I got a lot of those places you just named are places that I on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Unless I get rich one day or win the lottery, I don't know if I ever get to go to any of those places.
Right.
So Black Poindexter had on a minute ago. I had on the screen that his 16-year-old thinks he's an idiot, and his 31-year-old thinks he's a genius, and that's about it, man.
And the 16-year-old, when becomes a 31-year-old, will come back and think that you're pretty smart too.
That's the way it goes. So I got a couple questions for you about the Marines. So what were you issued when you got issued? What was the first weapon that you guys were issued? Rifle.
See, here's the funny thing is I never shot anything before the Marine Corps.
Okay.
I grew up in Plano, Texas, a little suburb outside of Dallas. You probably know where it is. Bunch of my friends had ranches and all that. I mean, I shot a 22 here and there. This is a fun thing, but I never shot guns before. I wasn't a gun guy. So the first firearm I ever shot in my life was the M16A2, and pulled the trigger, and I was like, Matter of fact, I got out of boot camp. And the next day I went to Walmart with my dad and bought a Winchester 30-30 just to have a rifle because I love shooting that much. And then I shot a bunch of stuff in there. So the M60, 50 cal, the Mark 19, the Beretta M9, MP5, name it, I shot it in the Marine Corps. But my first was the M16A2. And if I wouldn't have had such a good experience with the M16A2, I wouldn't be here because I wouldn't have cared about guns, and I really enjoyed shooting that M16.
Okay, so outside of what they show in the movies, I don't know much about like the reality of the day to day. So do you guys in an average day when you're in boot camp, how many hours a day did you guys spend like with your weapon and trying to get proficient with it, taking it down, cleaning it, and all that kind of stuff?
So we're issued a weapon probably maybe 4 or 5 days into boot camp. The first 4 or 5 days, we don't sleep zero at all. Literally no, but we're doing all the medical stuff, making sure everything's got checked in. You're getting issued all your stuff. And about day 4 or so, they call it Black Friday because that's when it just all hell breaks loose. You get there on a Monday, you go through all that, and then on Friday you get issued to your platoon and you meet your actual drill instructors. And the next day you get issued your weapon. Now I can speak for 1994. I can't speak for now, but when I was in, you got issued your weapon on like day 5 of boot camp, and you have it everywhere you go. And if it's not with you, it's locked up. If you go to chow, you go to sleep, it's locked up, and you have it every day. You clean it. We had to clean it pretty much every day. We're also in San Diego, and we were maybe a mile or two from the beach. So all that salt water air can rust up the guns. Right. We were cleaning every day. So the first month of boot camp was just thrashing us, breaking us down into absolutely nothing. It was the worst part of my life, but it was also the best part. And they break you down and build you up. Then the second month, we go up to Camp Pendleton for the second phase, and that's where we do all the shooting. So the first week we're there, it's called Grass Week, and they teach you how to shoot. So they pretty much assume that you don't know anything about shooting, which I didn't, and they liked that because I didn't have any bad habits. So they were going to teach me their way, and so you learn that first week on shooting. The second week is qualification week, and then the third and fourth week we're out in the field camping out, patrolling, being Marines for 2 straight weeks and all of that, and then we come back to San Diego for the third. So we spent about 2 weeks firing our weapons, but they're with us every second of every day for 13 weeks.
Wow. And so before I ask my next question, do they still shoot the M16 to qualify in boot camp? That's a good question. You know the answer to that question?
I think they've moved on to the M4 now. But I mean the same platform, the AR style platform, but I think they're with the M4 now. When I was in, we qualified out to 500 yards iron sights. We didn't have optics. I think they're issued a Trijicon ACOG in boot camp, so that's when they qualify. Now they might also qualify iron sights also, but I know they're issued a Trijicon ACOG in boot camp as well. So that's what they learn on.
Gotcha. Saucy Money said, "What time did y'all have to wake up?"
I don't know. The sun wasn't up. I'll put it to you that way. We didn't have clocks. They took all that away from us. They didn't want us to know what day it was. They didn't want us to know what time it was. we were on their schedule in boot camp. We probably went to bed like around 10 or 11 and woke up at like around 4 or 5. I honestly don't know. It was one of those things where there were no clocks anywhere. They didn't allow us to have clocks. We obviously didn't have phones or anything like that. So for 13 weeks, we were literally secluded from, it's kind of like being sequestered for a jury. You know, we were secluded from the rest of the world. We had no outside thing happening. We didn't know what day it was, what time it was, nothing. Because we worked 7 days a week. There was no such thing as a Monday or a Saturday.
Right. There's no weekend.
No, it's you're training 7 days a week for 13 weeks. So, yeah.
Santee said we had to wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, Reveille was probably between 4 and 5. I mean, like I said, it wasn't just dark outside; it was really dark outside. So it wasn't close to sun coming up. So it was probably between 4 and 5 every morning, if I had to guess. We have a saying in the Marine Corps: we get more done than most before the sun comes up than most people do all day. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. You know.
Wow. Ghost Tactical. Favorite memory? What's your favorite memory from boot camp? Kevin said.
Oh man.
The favorite memory that you can share here on the channel.
Okay. Yeah, there's my favorite memory, graduation, because it was over.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. That's fair.
I mean, they thrashed us for 13 straight weeks, and it was not fun. And it was over. Looking back, and I had a lot of good memories about it because it was funny. Looking back at the time, it was bad. So yeah, I'd probably say graduation was my best memory because it was over, you know.
Gotcha. So that time during boot camp, how many times you guys eating a day? 3 times, 1 time,
three times. Okay. 3 times. Like when we were in San Diego, we ate chow, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
When we were up at Pendleton, we got 1 hot meal a day, and typically it was dinner, and we had MREs for breakfast or lunch, or so I should say half the time was dinner. Half the time we got a hot breakfast. They bring out these 5-ton vehicles, and they had the powdered eggs. It was nasty, but it was warm. Sure. And then we ate MREs for lunch and dinner a lot of times. So it was either one, you know, either lunch or breakfast. We had 1 hot meal, and the other ones were MREs.
Got you. So you mentioned you guys were shooting out to 500 yards with no optics. Yeah. So initially, like those first few weeks, you know, they're trying to teach, assuming you guys know nothing. So what are the first few days like? Are you guys shooting 10 yards, 20 yards, 100 yards? Do you guys get to progress at different levels? Do they keep everybody together as a group?
Honestly, the first few days, actually, we didn't shoot. I want to say the first week we didn't shoot any live ammo at all. We were working on different stances, we use our sling a lot for stabilization, trigger control, breathing techniques, how the actual weapon system works, if you have jams, everything, all of that. When we finally got to the range, I want to say the first couple of days we were probably pretty much at 100 yards, and then we kind of progressed out to 300 yards, and then probably like Thursday or Friday of that week, we went out, we started shooting at 500 to get our dope right for the qualification. And then Saturday and Sunday, we actually qualified.
So some of the guys that are watching may not know what dope is. So what is dope?
Oh, yeah. So I don't even know what the acronym is anymore. I can't think of it, but your dope is your settings on your rifle, your elevation, your windage, being able to know that at 5 mile an hour wind, crosswind, or downwind, or whatever, you need to know kind of where your settings on your sights need to be at for 100, 300, 500, and you keep a dope book. And it's basically every shot that you shoot through that book, you write down, and you try to write down wind conditions, weather conditions, whatever the temperature, if you have it, whatever it is, so that you kind of have a diary of, okay, this is what is works for 100 or 300 or 500 under these weather conditions. If you're ever in that situation, you can kind of go back and say, okay, here's what it is. And we use what we call, eventually we use a 36-yard zero. Okay. And a 36-yard zero.
Why 36 yards? Any particular reason?
That's what they use in the Marine Corps. It's called a battlefield zero. And here's why is, And that's what I have all of my optics to now is 36 yards. I'm not a precision guy when it comes to my rifle stuff. Anything inside 300 yards, I'm not precision. I don't care about an inch grouping at 300 yards. Don't care. I'm looking for a silhouette. And so at 36 yards zero, if you aim right here center mass with a 36 yard zero
at
from one, what's that?
At 300 yards?
Well, if you zero your optic at 36, a red dot at 36 yards, whether you're at 1 yard or 300 yards, the grouping's 5 inches, 5 to 6 inches. So we know it's called a battlefield zero. So we know that no matter where we are between 1 and 300 yards, we don't have to change our dope. We don't have to worry about our settings on our optic. We set that at 30. We zero at 36 yards. So anywhere up to 300 yards, if I aim center mass, it's going to hit within 5 inches of that spot. That's all I care about is putting that threat down. So that's once we qualified, then we went into that 36 yard zero.
Gotcha. So Black Point Dexter said data on previous engagements. There we go.
There you go. That's right. Yeah.
So Saucy said, did anyone ever quit or could they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We started with 80 something and graduated 30 something.
Okay.
So we graduated less than half of what we started. Now, some of them were injuries that they're recycled. They had to go and get healthy and they started over from where they left off. Some people were kicked out. Some people left. Some people tried to escape. We had a couple guys tried to escape in the middle of the night. That did not go well for them.
Tried to escape. Tried to escape.
We had one. The problem with MCRD San Diego is the only thing that is separating boot camp from San Diego International Airport is a chain link fence. A lot of barbed wire, concertina wire. Someone in our platoon snuck out at night and tried to climb the fence and got stuck in the concertina wire. And you know what concertina wire is? That will tear you up. It tore him up. We had another guy up at Camp Pendleton that snuck out and tried to hitchhike on the highway back down to San Diego and got caught. So probably we never saw them again, but I'm sure it didn't go well for him.
Even if you get away, like at that point, it's a dishonorable discharge. Am I incorrect?
You're done. Yeah, you're done. Yeah, it's not going to work out well for you then, and it's not going to work out well for the rest of your life. So, yeah.
Santee said it does feel like prison, but it's worth it.
It is. It is. It's prison in a sense that you are institutionalized.
Sure.
And sometimes that's not a bad thing. That's why I went in the Marine Corps. Is I needed. I got bad into some substance stuff growing up and buried some friends, watched some friends. I mean, it wasn't good. So it's one of those where I made a decision. I need to get out of this. So the institutionalization is real because
just like prison,
want you. Yeah, it's like prison. You know that you're getting up at one day. You know you're going to eat. You know you got this. It's a routine, but the routine is what gets you through it. Because if you're trying to make it 13 weeks, you're never going to make it.
Okay.
You break it down, and one of the best things I ever heard was from Marcus Luttrell from the Navy SEAL from Lone Survivor. Okay. And he talks about 3 feet at a time. That's how he survived, was moving 3 feet at a time. We basically learned really quick in boot camp, 1 meal at a time. You wake up, you get chow.
Yep.
Bust your tail, and you're not worried about anything until that next meal.
Live in the moment. Be in the moment. Be where your feet are.
Don't worry about what happens next week or next month. Yep. Live those 3 feet in front of you. You do the best that you can for those 3 feet or those 3 hours or whatever it is, and you get to that checkpoint and you start over and you say, "I'm giving it all I got for those next 3 feet. I'm going to get there 3 feet." And next thing you know, it's like, man, we're graduating. Where'd it go?
You know what I was saying? How you eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Absolutely.
One bite at a time. Yeah, man. All that stuff is really intriguing to me. Like I said, I've had family members who were in the military, but those family members have passed, and when I say family members, I mean like great uncles, etc. So way further back. And so, I mean, I know a lot of things have changed, etc. since then. So, like I said, all this is super intriguing to me. You mentioned Marcus Luttrell and Lone Survivor, which is a great movie. It's one of my favorite movies. I watch it once a month.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you've seen the movie.
Oh yeah.
So I do have one question for you. The scene when they're on the hill, and you got the kid who's probably 16, 17, 18 that is clearly angry.
The goat herder?
Yeah. Who's clearly angry at the world and clearly angry that these Americans are here. What's up, Jane? And that situation, in your opinion, so obviously we know the choice that they made, but do you think, hindsight being 2020, if you're the commanding officer, you're the head guy in charge at that point, do you think that's the call that you made in that situation? Obviously we know the outcome. Okay, you've already answered me.
Here's the problem. I understood where he was coming from. Okay, Murph had to make that decision on the rules of engagement. Okay. And everywhere you go, there are certain rules of engagement, and you have to, it sounds crazy, but you have to try to follow those as quickly as possible. Because if something goes wrong, the government will throw you under the bus for war crimes.
And then run over you with it.
Scapegoat. Absolutely. Yeah. So I understood the decision that was made. Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't go back down that hill. It is what it is.
I mean, here's the thing. When you watch the movie and you see the depiction of that kid, you know with 1,000% certainty what's happening when he goes down the hill. There's 4 of you. You've already glassed down there. You know there's an army, small army down there. Regardless of your training, despite your training, this is not a video game.
Nope.
The 4 of you are not going to defeat that entire army down there, regardless of how good you are
on their turf.
It's not going to happen.
No,
8 of you wouldn't have defeated that entire army that they had down there. So, I mean, you know you're rolling the dice at that point. I understand the rules of engagement.
Yep.
And he did the right thing by the rules of engagement. He followed the rule. He followed the letter of the law. Unfortunately, you knew with 100% certainty when that kid ran down that hill, that's exactly where he was going, and you knew within 30 minutes or less you were going to have an army surrounding you.
The hindsight being 2020, like you said, knowing what we know now,
right?
The least amount that I would do, I would not have let him go. The least amount, no problem. I would have not have let him go. The least amount is I tie him up to a tree.
That's it. I'm
not letting him go down the hill.
No,
I'm going to tie him to a tree, and if he gets away, he gets away. But I'm gone by then, because they're already going to squash the mission. The mission's a wash already. They're like, it's not gonna happen. So let's get the hell out of here. We'll try this again some other time. We've been compromised. Let's go. Tie these guys to the tree. If they get out 3 hours from now, we're gone by then anyways. I'm not letting them go down the hill. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he can't make it down the hill. RGG. So I'm gonna get off subject for a second, then I get back on subject.
Yeah, man.
We did a hog hunt, Zach and I, 2 nights ago.
I saw your Instagram thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and
whatever, it was a short, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a little short, just showing, hey, we got this hog. We got a full video coming soon. So RGG, if you're still in the chat, I want you to go take a look at that short that I did, man, because that's gonna be you in a few weeks. So RGG is gonna come out from Chicago, and we're gonna put him in the middle of the woods, man.
You gonna let him shoot the 6.8 or what?
He talked about wanting to bring, like an AR or AK or something and just like spray. So hey, man, whatever he want to do. If he want to come mag dump the AR or the AK, then we'll let him mag. So I got my 6.8 with my hog already. I've been trying for months since I've gotten this 6.8 to get it. Finally got it. So anyway, sorry.
You're good.
Back on Lone Survivor, because man, I love that movie.
Oh man.
Some of the fighting scenes now. So we moved to, we know what happened. The kid goes down the hill. So how realistic are those fighting scenes from Mark Wahlberg or some of the other characters?
Yeah, they're good.
They're pretty good. Pretty. What you would think would be kind of accurate?
Yeah, obviously everything's Hollywood. They have to make some stuff Hollywood.
Sure.
I would
No
say,
yellow.
yeah, it's very, very realistic. I would say there is a combination of a few movies that are about as real if you combine all of them. Obviously, Lone Survivor is good. 13 Hours.
Okay, that was pretty good. I like,
So Tonto's a good friend of mine, and I talk to him every now and then about the movie, and they did a good job.
Okay.
But when you're talking about Small Arms Fire, and you're talking about all this, they're pretty good. There's a movie, ironically, called Acts of Valor. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or seen it. I
started it, but I haven't finished it.
It's when I first saw it, I was like, this is a terrible movie. Like, these actors are terrible, but they're spot on their movements, their team movements. Come to find out, they were actual, like, still in active duty SEALs. Gotcha. So they were good. Their acting was terrible, but they weren't actors. They were legit, like, active duty SEALs. So those they've all got certain aspects. Now, obviously, understand everything's going to have Hollywood in it. Okay, yeah. They have to.
We got to sell tickets.
They got to sell tickets. And they couldn't have been as graphic as real shit is. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I'm sorry.
You good?
They can't be as graphic on the movies because people just can't handle it. Sure. You ever watch Marcus give a speech? He's talking about his face was literally ripped off, his skin was ripped off of his bones, and his whole body was broken. But they can't show that in the movie. Sure, but as far as a Small Arms Fire and all of that, yeah, I mean, it's overwhelming, man. There's a lot of people that you talk to that have been in firefights that will sit there and tell you that one of two things happens. Either it's a fight or flight type thing. Yeah. One of the things, you're either going to hide and hope it goes away, or it becomes surreal and say, let's go. Marcus Luttrell said, let's go. Gotcha. All of those guys on that hillside said, let's go. Whatever happens, happens.
So I don't have any military training, tactical training background. I'm a country boy, man. I got hunting background. That's about all I got.
So you and I would be a perfect combination together, you know?
Yeah, I'll track you down in the woods now.
I understand.
But so for movement, I've always been curious about this. So they do it a lot in Lone Survivor. So we talked about the tactical movement and the team movement. Yep. So did you guys get to do any of that specific training in the team training?
That's big time. We did everything in fire teams. So a fire team is a 4-man, maybe a 5-man team. Okay. But we did everything's 4-man teams. And you had two fire teams in a squad with a squad leader. So, and then you had many squads in that platoon and all that. We did platoon movements, we did squad movements, but we were really big on fire team movements, which are 4-man teams, and maybe 5, depends on the unit. But we worked as 4-man teams. When I got overseas, I got there in early November, and they told me we were leaving in January, and it's usually about a 4 or 5 month workup to go somewhere. I had 2 months to catch up, so I was kind of thrown in. And had to kind of I learned my stuff in training, but when you get out into the fleet, they teach you the real stuff. Does that make sense? Here's by the book, but here's how we're really going to do it. So you had to learn all this stuff, and the team movements are incredibly important. You really do learn to trust your brother to your left and right and behind you. A lot of nonverbal communication. Okay. So you have to be able. It's incredibly important because you might be stuck just like they were. A 4-man fire team against 100, 200, 300 people. And if you do it the right way and you're organized and you know what you're doing, 4 guys can easily defend, can go after 200 if you do it the right way. So the Marine Corps especially, and you have the SEALs and you have the Rangers and the Braves and all them. They are it's 4 to 5-man fire teams is really where that makes the biggest difference. I think the SEALs might go 8 maybe sometimes in their teams, but
so when you have those teams, do you typically have somebody that you've said he's the leader, he's the guy
Oh, yeah.
calling main shots, and
So,
everyone else kind of.
so we had fire team. We had team leaders, and that was usually a corporal, E4. And so I ended up being one of those. But you have a corporal who's a team leader, and then you have two in our platoon. I can only go for what we had. Our platoon, we had two teams in each squad. You had a squad leader who was usually a sergeant.
Okay.
And he was in charge of both teams. So you had each team had an NCO in charge of that 4-man team, and then you had someone over both of those, and then you had a platoon sergeant who was usually a staff NCO who was in charge of the whole platoon. So it was broken down from the most minute 4-man team all the way out to your 30 some odd people in your platoon or whatever you have in your platoon. So the rank structure, it is something that you have to take seriously because you have to know everyone's job, though, especially in a 4-man fire team. If we had a point man, which I was point, then you have usually your squad leader, your team leader at that point. Then you have like a designated marksman, which is your sniper, and then you had your 4th person. Well, we all had to know everyone's job because what if one of them gets hurt or gets killed?
Sure.
If our designated marksman gets killed, none of us are going to be snipers, but we need to know how to utilize his rifle. We need to utilize. We had our gunner. We had to realize we had to know how to use a saw or an M60. If that guy's hurt, someone had to pick that up. So you had a team leader, but everyone had to be on the same page because at one point you never know what's going to happen. So everyone knew everything about everyone. But yes, ultimately you have a team leader, a squad leader, and a platoon sergeant. So yeah, the structure really, it's important. It's very important.
Oh, that's interesting, man. So you guys, I assume, so if I ask you anything and you feel like the Taliban may be watching and we giving tips to the Taliban, just don't answer my question, man. Tell me I plead the fifth. So, what's your typical, you guys typical loadout, man? How much you guys taking? 5 magazines, 6 magazines, 7, 4, or was it up to you guys how many you wanted to take?
Man, that's a good question. I think we took, I want to say I had 6 total mags for the AR. Okay. Or for the M16. For the M16, I think 6 total mags. We were running 24 round magazines. If I remember back then, we were running 24. We had 6 mags, and then we had 2 or 3 magazines for the M9. And then my gunner, like our 60 guy, I don't even know how many rounds they had between him and his A gunner. They had all sorts of stuff in their pack. They probably had thousands of rounds.
So y'all shooting 7.62 by 51. Y'all shooting AR-15, 223, 5.56.
So we were shooting 5.56. Our M16 was a 5.56. Now we had certain weapon systems that would shoot 308 or 7.62 by 51. Technically, we had stuff that shot MP5s that would shoot 9mm. Obviously, the M9, the Beretta, which is 92, shot 9mm. We had we had 50 cals, the Mod Deuce, Mark 19 were automatic grenade launchers that were usually hooked up to Humvees on a turret type thing or mounted on something. They're big. But for me, my small arms, I was using 5.56 NATO for the M16.
Wow. All this is, like I said, man, it's super intriguing to me because I got a few friends who've been in and out, but none that have been in the Marines and obviously experienced and seen some of the stuff that you've seen and
I've been lucky, man. I never had to engage. Had to engage. Luckily, when we were there. How do I put this? We were drones before drones existed. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
So we were in and out in a couple of weeks, and they had a mission to find out information about some tribal leader there in Mogadishu, and we literally were sleeping in trees for 2 weeks. watching everyone, how many people were there, what kind of security they had, their movements, do they have a schedule, people coming in and out. We were reconnaissance, man. We were intel. We were gathering intelligence to give to the higher ups so that they could send the SEALs in to do their thing. We were like the drones before the drones. We were human drones, if you will. This is diet ginger ale.
Diet ginger ale, huh?
Ginger ale. I'm a hard mother.
That's funny. Yeah, there it is. Zero sugar. I'm gonna have to give that a shot, man.
Pretty good. If you like ginger ale, it's really good.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're drinking some whiskey or something, man.
No, I don't drink much anymore. Hardly at all.
Got you. Yeah, I was just about to ask. I'm intrigued by all of this stuff, man. I appreciate you taking the time to answer some of those questions. And
no problem.
And because I know a lot of people have some of the same questions, just intrigued about, the day-to-day and some of the stuff you guys got to see and do. And so when you said you were sleeping in these trees for 2 weeks, so I assume y'all had MREs that y'all were eating for this 2-week time period that you guys are in these. So did you ever get to come out of the tree, like to handle any business or anything and go back in the tree?
We a couple times. I mean, we were on different shifts. Okay. Our platoon basically surrounded a compound. Imagine 30 people that are surrounding in a circle around a compound.
Remaining hit too. I mean, that we don't know we're there.
Yeah, they don't know we're there at all. Right. I hope not, because if they do, we haven't done our job, and it gets real bad, real quick. But yeah, I mean, we're prepared for the worst. We just hope we don't have to. But yeah, I mean, we worked in shifts. We weren't there, everyone wasn't having to wait 24/7. So you try to get some sleep when you can. If you had to go do your thing, sometimes you did your thing right there. Sometimes, depending on the situation, we were basically not allowed to basically move during daylight. If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
So everything that we did, we would try to do at night. Because some people were in trees, some people were in tops of buildings that we had cleared, that we could get a vantage point around this compound that we were working on. Obviously, being the low man on the totem pole, I was not privy to be inside of a building. So they stuck me in a tree because I was literally the low man on the totem pole. It is what it is. You had to earn your way.
How far were they dropping you guys? So hold on before I ask this question.
Yeah, sure.
If you still goes, so do you still go out and do any tactical type training since you've been out?
All the time. Yeah.
All the time.
I love it, man. I love
it. Showers.
That's
pretty accurate, huh?
It's what it is,
So how far were they? So you say you guys were hiding out for 30 days, whatever. So how far are you guys getting dropped in before you? I mean, obviously they're not taking a helicopter and going within a half a mile.
No, so
how far you guys have to
understand that I was 19 years old and freaking the hell out, not sure what was going on. So I was kind of in a daze, a lot of it, because I'm just trying to get home. Like I at this point, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm not gonna lie. I had never been in that situation before, and it freaked me out. But there's bases there in Mogadishu that were American bases. So we flew in the airport there, got in the base. We had our briefing. They told us what we're going to be doing, all of that stuff, and took about two days. We were in pre-op and all of that, to where we were getting briefed. We kind of, here's what everyone's responsibilities are, blah, 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 get your load out, all that stuff. Then we took vehicles, and they were the most badass vehicles I've ever been in, but they were really old, 70s, early 80s, maybe early 80s. They looked like they were old. They might have been new, but they were been shot to hell. But they were Toyota Land Cruisers, but they were not the same Land Cruisers we have over here. Big diesel, and they just horses, just absolute monster vehicles. We took those, had a caravan of those to go up, and we probably stopped 2 or 3 clicks out, and then humped it in.
What's a click?
A click, a kilometer.
A little bit more than a mile. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. 2 or 3 clicks out, they dropped us off, and we waited till night and then walked the rest away until we got where we needed to go. Yeah.
So how fast are you moving when you said, I mean, you're moving at a walking pace or a little slower than walking pace?
Yeah, you're moving at a walking pace. You're trying to move as quickly as you can without being seen, being caught. So you're moving quickly as you can, but it turns out probably about a walking pace. Sometimes we're going to have to stop. If we see a vehicle coming in the distance, we'll stop, get some cover, let the vehicle go. Okay, let's move on and all of that. Hey, there's someone up there on the right side of the street. Make sure, is he carrying a military age male with a weapon? If the answer is no, let him go and we move on. So it takes a while, but ideally you're walking at a normal pace, but you just have to be really aware of everything.
So what's the rules of engagement in that situation? I mean, what if you guys had come across somebody that was just hiding out in the woods with a weapon? Like, I mean,
officially, the rules of engagement were do not fire until fired upon.
Shit. So I gotta wait till they shoot at me first?
Pretty much.
Okay. Fair enough.
Officially.
I understand. Yeah. I understood the first time. I got it. I caught it.
But it's that's usually, in a nutshell, what they say is do not fire until fired upon. There's an imminent threat.
Gotcha. Okay.
At that point, if there's an imminent threat, then technically, this is a long time ago. I don't know what they're doing now.
Right.
But if you felt there was an imminent threat, you still had to call in to get the okay to do it.
Hey, Sarge, there's somebody shooting at me. Can I shoot back?
Well, no, it's one of those things where if they shoot, we're good to go. We go. If it's someone that is a military age male, and that's basically anyone that's, let's say, 14 and above, right?
Sure.
A military age male with an AK strapped on their shoulder, and we're moving, and he happens to see something moving in the trees. And now he locks in and he starts walking towards us. That's an imminent threat, possibly.
Sure.
If he gets close enough, we call it in, say, we got a military age male, 25 feet from us, locked and loaded, engaged. He'll say, do your thing or stand by.
So the environment
is a lot of their famous words is stand by for the standby. Stand by
for standby. So where you guys got dropped, was this more like a city type?
Oh yeah, Mogadishu is a pit of the world, man. It's the nastiest place in the world. It's a huge city, but it's actually outside the city. It's actually pretty. It's on the beach and all that. It's kind of pretty, but Mogadishu itself is the armpit of the world for sure that I've been into. I'm sure there are other worse places. Hands down, the worst place I've ever been. Thank God I was only there for a short time.
Hiding in the trees.
Yeah.
Wow, man, all this stuff. So I had we're at an hour. I know we talked about doing an hour tonight.
Man, I'm good. Go for it.
So we get man. So here's my list. I had a list of stuff to talk to you about.
We're on number 2.
We on number 1 still, man. Number 1 has branched off to like other questions. I'm still on number 1. Because every time I ask a question, you say something. I'm like,
I'm sorry.
What about that? Oh no, it's good, man. I mean, like I said, this is stuff that I would never have another person like the opportunity to kind of ask some of this stuff to and find out some of this stuff. So man, I'm intrigued by all this stuff, man. Sure. My tactical training to this point is Call of Duty and paintball.
I love Call of Duty.
I'm pretty good at paintball, so
we did paintball at Camp Pendleton. We have a place called Combat Town.
Okay.
And they built a city, a little town out in the middle of Camp Pendleton. We do a lot of close quarters and stuff through there. And we went in one time, and this is back in the 90s, so there was like old school paintball. And they told us we couldn't wear sweatshirts underneath anything. And I'm pretty sure they had that stuff in freezers because they absolutely destroyed us. And we had welts everywhere. But yeah, that's the only experience I had was paintball. I would love to go and play actual paintball. I think it'd be fun.
So have you gotten so let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Yeah, I see Kevin said exactly where I was going. That's exactly where I was going with this. So if I took, I asked this question in two parts.
Yeah.
So I don't have a military background. I don't have the tactical training. Besides YouTube videos that I watch and I emulate. If you
YouTube operator.
yeah, there you go. If you took a 4-man team of ex-military like yourself, guys who've been trained, and we went out to play paintball against a bunch of guys like me who don't have the tactical background, do you think you guys would just run through us because you guys have that kind of training, et cetera, in a capture the flag kind of game? Does it use translation, in your opinion?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'd be easy. I think it'd be a pretty good battle because understanding that team movement's one thing, but not being familiar with a weapon system. And if you're going against people that play paintball every weekend and you know how those guns react and how they're going to shoot and all that, and we don't, that's a huge, huge thing. We can have all the awesome movements in the world, but if we can't shoot that weapon system, it doesn't matter. If we can't hit you, it doesn't matter. So I think a lot of it comes down to having the knowledge of communication and the understanding of how to set up ambushes, how to do certain things is great. But if you can't shoot, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. Ultimately, you got to hit me.
You got it. I got to hit you. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
And I wouldn't know how to do it. I would have to take I would have to say, hey, if we're going to do this, brother, then you got to give me a month straight to mess with this paintball gun to figure out how it works. If you don't give me a month to work with it, I'm done. I mean, there's no way they could do well because you guys ultimately are going to be better shots than we are.
With that weapon, sure.
With that weapon, for sure.
Right.
100%. It'd be a great fight.
It'd be fun. It
would be fun.
So I saw a video maybe 4 or 5 months ago where there was a tactical team. And I don't know if these guys were active or not, but there was a tactical team. And I think it was 4 guys. And they were going against like 15 guys, just regular guys who had no background, no training. And I think, say it again.
They probably got worked over, didn't they?
No, they didn't get shot one time. Like the tactical team, I think they did a few different games. One of the games they were trying to get in the house, and so they had the regular guys inside the house trying to protect the house, and then they had this tactical squad. And I don't know if they were police or military. I assume they were military, and basically they were trying to storm the house. And it was a cool video, cool concept, and at the end of the day, the tactical team did what I would think the tactical team would do, and none of them even got hit. They didn't even get hit.
Now, if you're talking about doing room clearing and that sort of thing,
there was room clearing involved in this one because so the tactical guys started off in the middle of the woods, and you had these guys trying to protect the house. These regular guys who had no tactical training, etc., trying to protect this house, and they weren't paintball players; they were just regular guys. And they got
regular guys that don't know that weapon system either. Oh, we're going to own them all day long.
Okay.
I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, if you get guys that are paintballers, that's what they do. That's their hobby. They play paintball every weekend. It'd be tough. But if you just say, hey, we got 4 military guys that have never played paintball, and we have 4 regular guys that have limited paintball skills, we're gonna run you. If you make it the weapon system an even playing field, it's over. That's just the reality of it. It's over.
Wow.
You'll never know where they are. And when you see them, if you see them, it's already too late.
So I play paintball once a year.
Yeah.
It's that much. So I'm not a paintball guy. I have some friends who play every weekend all the time. But
I love it, man.
It will be fun, man. I think that's great content right there. It will be fun, if you got 3 or 4, your guys who obviously got the training experience, etc., and you took 4 or 5 YouTubers like myself who I'm familiar with weapons, etc. I don't know. I'm not tactically trained, and just go out and have somebody record some games. I think that'd be cool as hell, man.
That would be really fun.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. That sounds like a blast, actually.
Okay, so I think we need to make it happen.
Let's make this happen sometime. I'm serious. Anytime I try to get back to Texas, anytime I have an excuse to go home is a great reason to go. If I can get to go home and play some paintball on top of it, I'm in.
Dude, I think just from the experience standpoint, and like I said, trying to get the content, I think people will really be curious to see what would happen. I mean, I'm not talking about guys who are not familiar with guns, etc. No, I'm talking about guys like myself. Like, yeah, I can handle myself with a weapon, but I'm not tactically trained. You guys are. Neither of us know the weapon system, so let's get 2 5-man teams and see what the hell happened.
I think we should make that work somehow.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. I dig that. Now I do like paintball. It's fun as hell. It's really.
Like I said, my only experience of paintball was getting killed and just destroyed by other squads in a combat town, and so I've never actually played paintball like in a paintball thing. I did it. We were the guinea pigs. We were the ones that were supposed to get shot in combat town, and it was not fun. So, but that was also in like 1996, something like that. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I went out with my son. My son was a senior in high school, so this was probably 3 or 4 years ago, and they had a bunch of. I think we ended up doing dads versus the 17, 18-year-olds, and they beat us a few times. We beat them a few times. Ultimately, their strategy was, we're just gonna run around and be crazy. And our strategy was we were trying to be strategic as we knew how to be. Like I said, not being tactically trained.
So they're playing Call of Duty with paintball.
Pretty much.
It works.
Yeah, pretty much. So it was pretty fun. I mean, I think for me the funnest game was probably Capture the Flag. So they set the time for like 10 minutes. And then they have a flag in the middle, and you have to run in there and hit the flag to your direction. And then obviously from that point, you're trying to protect it until the time runs out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Capture the Flag would be fun. The great thing about Capture the Flag, if you have one person that's got a little bit of wheels and it's kind of fast.
That's me. You're looking at him.
That was me 20 years ago, being 46 and broke down. That is not me anymore.
I got it.
If you have that one guy that can run, then you've got it. I mean, you've got a chance.
And see, you're not even a paintball guy, and so I didn't grow up playing paintball. I played probably the first time 5-6 years ago. First time I ever went to go play. We played a game of Capture the Flag, and the next game, and my brother's like 10 years younger than me, so he's super athletic, super fast, and I'm like, hey, one of us is, when this whistle blows, is gonna throw your gun down, run as fast as you can, hit that flag, and then haul your ass back. And that's what we did, and we won every game that way. One of us would run in there, haul ass, hit it, and then from that point, we're just protecting it. We got 10 minutes to keep anybody else in there.
The interesting thing is, I think that whether you have training or not, I think it's almost worse sometimes if you do have training, because you start overthinking like strategy. And sometimes the simplest strategy is the simplest way. Run, get it, and run back. Instead of maneuvering through everything, no, just send one dude. And if he dies, we'll send another dude,
That's it. So, we sent one dude. And by the time they figured out, that we got one guy, no gun, he's just hauling ass to hit it. It's too late that he's hit it and he's back out. And now we're set up.
And now you set up your perimeter, and now you're just ready to go. Yep.
That's it. Yeah. And that strategy won. Now again, we're playing against other regular guys.
Sure.
So maybe that strategy doesn't work against some of these elite guys that play every weekend with these. So I got a buddy that's got a get this $2,000 paintball gun.
I'm sorry?
Not a rifle. A $2,000 paintball gun. I'm not kidding.
Not even airsoft. It's paintball.
Yes, it's an electronic. It's electronic that he can sit here and tap like this and a ridiculous trigger and shoot. I don't know how many paintballs a minute, but I'm like, dude.
So are they like full auto? I mean, is it full auto?
It's basically like a little full auto. I mean, it's electronic that's got different settings and stuff. 2 G's on a paintball gun. I'm like, bro, are you kidding me?
I'm going to Walmart. If I can find one for $50, I'm happy,
Hey, Texas Bullet said you're supposed to keep that game plan secret from
all that.
Hey. Yeah, Black Poindexter, a paintball gun, man, 2 G's. And I don't even think his was the most expensive on his team. 2. And you know what? At the end of the day, people hear how much, you know, you and I, we pay for guns and stuff we like, and
As I said,
ultimately,
like, what is wrong with you? I bet you paid a pretty penny for your 6.8, didn't you? Be honest.
I don't know. Hold on.
There are people that would not believe what you paid for that rifle.
If my wife is watching,
no.
If she's not watching, yeah.
It's funny. People just don't realize, man. And no matter what it is, whether it's a golf or whatever hobby that you in, if you're going to get in that elite kind of high end level, every hobby's expensive as hell.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. So people are like, I can't believe you got that many guns and you spend that much on guns. And what do you like? What's your hobby? You spend whatever you can afford to spend on it. If that's your hobby. Right. So yeah, when I got my 6.8, it was the only 6.8 in the Houston area, and that's a big store. Still hadn't gotten another 6.8 since I've canceled 2 orders with 2 other stores because they keep getting pushed out to October, November, December, and they just guys are not able to get their hands. So a lot of guys are building them now because they unable to get their hands on them. Devereaux said, "Ain't no way." Yeah, man, I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up, man. 2 G's. Spent 2 G's on a paintball gun. Yep.
I'm trying to find
MCJ said, I'm late as hell. Did I miss the hog slapping talk? No, man, we ain't talked about slapping no hogs. Now who did come in here? He came in here early, but he wasn't talking crazy tonight about slapping no hogs, man. Not tonight. Now, who usually every night at 8 he got a video on. So I assume it's 8:12. He got a video running or just ending. So he'll probably hop back in here at some point and talk about slapping some hogs. So stick around, and I'm sure you won't miss his hog slapping. So who said he gonna come to Texas and slap some hogs, man? He not shooting them, he not stabbing them, he just gonna slap them.
I don't hunt. I've never been hunting. I don't have anything against it. I just personally have no desire to wake up at dark 30.
Right.
Up in Arkansas, there's a lot of duck and deer hunting. I don't have any want to get up at dark 30 to go stand in water to shoot a bird. That doesn't make any damn sense to me. I'll go to duck club with you. I'll go to deer camp and I'll hang out with you. But if you wake me up at 4:30 in the morning to go tell me it's December, let's go stand in some water and shoot a duck, I'm going to tell you're outside your mind. Now hog hunting is starting to get kind of big up here. They're coming down from Missouri. So I know there's a lot of people that Southern Missouri is really big in hog hunting, and they're starting to make their way to where I'm in northern Arkansas. They're starting to make their way. So there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of hog hunting, but I think a lot of people are doing with 300 blackout. Is that something that's a thing?
Yeah. So Zach got a 300 blackout a couple of years ago. So he likes to use the 300 blackout. I started off using my AR and my AK a lot because we used to have huge groups of hogs come out. When I say huge groups, like 15 to 20 hogs at one time.
Oh wow! And they're all like what, 300-400 pounds a piece usually?
Yeah, some of those are big. You got some small ones mixed in. You got some small ones mixed in too. But ultimately, now I took the 6.8 the other night, and obviously it's bolt action, and I wanted one. Because we've been shooting a lot of steel, a lot of targets, watermelon, and that kind of stuff. And people have been asking, hey, what's going to happen when you shoot this thing with a deer or a hog? Or we don't know. No one knows. It's a brand new caliber.
So what did happen? Was it destroyed with a 6.8, or was there still meat that you could eat or harvest or anything? Gotcha.
I don't know how long it's going to take Zach to finish the video. I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but
I understand. We'll have to wait and see next week or two, huh?
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I have a question for you real quick, because I'm not very smart, so I have to, when things come to my head, I have to mention them. I'm a Marine, dude. I eat crayons for lunch, but on your short, I guess it was Zach was the one that was kind of filming the short, right?
So we did two.
Okay, well, but you had a cell phone and you were filming also. Yep. It looked like yours had like a green light, or it was almost like night vision.
Yeah, so I just had a regular
app, or is that what is that?
No, I had a flashlight that you couldn't see, and it just had a green bulb.
Okay. I thought it was coming from the phone. I was like, damn, what the hell was that on his phone? Like, what app is that?
Yeah,
I want
like,
to turn my flashlight green, you know?
Like, I need one of those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure this out. So RGG is trying to, man, I cannot figure this out. There we go. There we go. This out. There he is. RGG is trying to, man, I cannot figure this out. There we go. Baby? There we go. This out. There he is.
Hold on. There I go. I couldn't find myself.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Trey, what's
there
up?
He is. What's up, baby?
What's going on with you, Junior?
Man, I'm good, man.
Chi-town.
Hey, man, I hear Trey in here telling these amazing Marine stories. I be hating I don't have no stories like that, man.
It's all smoke and mirrors, man.
All my stories are boring. But I will tell y'all something.
Got a story, bro. Everyone's got a story.
I'm cleaning my Chris Vector.
There you go. See, I don't have a Vector. That's a story.
That's it. That's all you got. That's it. That's all the parts to it.
I've shot Vectors and I love Vectors. Have you ever shot a full auto Vector?
Hell no. I wish I did have it. I used to have ever shot one. Yeah, I heard about that.
It's nuts, man.
I wish I could, man.
It's crazy.
So,
good stuff.
Hey, Junior, I got one question, man. I stopped by to ask this one question because I knew you was going to have Ghost Tactical on here tonight.
I'm kind of nervous. Okay.
You should be, because I've been thinking about this ever since I knew you were going to have him on here. And this is going to determine if I'm upset.
Are you nervous, bro?
Well, maybe, because listen, here it is.
All right.
Ready?
Turn the hookah. What's up, baby? At
any point tonight, did you ask Trey, could you rub some Jello on him? because if you didn't, wait till you hear my next statement.
No.
All right, I got a story. There's a story there. So
there better be a damn good story for this.
I just need did you get offered to have Jello rubbed on you, bro?
Man,
no, but if you start seeing me winking at the camera, some weird stuff's happening. I'm just saying. Like wink if he's touching you. If I'm winking, he's starting to talk about Jello or something. I don't know. So I got to hear this story.
I keep it nearby just in case.
So I agreed to be a guest on this gentleman's live a couple weeks ago, and all these things it was really weird. So I guess the real question is, were you offering to do these things to me because I'm overweight? Because you didn't offer to do this stuff to Trey, man.
I think that there's something about you that just looks like you want Jello rubbed all over you. I don't know, man.
Came in here messing with you dudes, man. I knew y'all was gonna be up to some BS tonight, man.
We just trying to hang out, man. So I haven't got him to agree to come to Texas to come hog hunt yet. When he come hog hunt, then I'll bring the Jello out. RGG.
I'm gonna need you to be fair.
He comes down and hog hunts. We'll set up a paintball gun at the same time, hopefully. How about that?
There you go. Yeah.
When he comes down, we'll try to come down. We'll do it all together.
There you go. I like it. I'm digging it.
Do I got to roll around in mud and stuff?
Let me think about it.
Don't make me do nothing weird, bro. Then I'll agree to come.
All right, I got you, man. I just let you put the gel on your boots, man. How about that? I'm gonna keep it right here waiting for you.
This guy.
Everyone has their thing, man. I'm just saying,
Yeah, he got some weird stuff going on down there in Texas, man.
But you know what?
Before you agree to anything.
You know I'm from Texas, right?
You are?
You guys said he was like, "Oh, you are."
So this Jello.
I grew up in Dallas, and typically Dallas and Houston don't like each other. But if a non-Texas starts messing with one, then you got the whole shebang, man.
Let me get out of here, man. I am not. Put that Jello down, Junior. Put that damn Jello down, man. No, great live, fellas. I just wanted to step in and support, man. I'll get back in the chat, but keep it up, man. I just want to.
Good, brother.
All
See
right.
you soon.
Yep.
Good dude right there.
Yeah, man. He real good guy. So we're gonna make the paintball thing happen.
Man, I'm in.
Do you have any? And so I know you said you don't get up at the butt crack of dawn to go hunt. So usually when we hunt hogs, we hunt them at night. So do you have any? Have you ever had any interest in doing any hunting? I mean, obviously you said you're 46, so if you wanted to hunt, I assume you would have hunted by now.
There's nothing. It's just one of those things for me. I guess I grew up in suburbia, man. I never hunted in my life growing up. My dad wasn't a hunter. I got a bunch of friends of mine that duck and deer hunt religiously.
Yeah.
For me, it's just one of those things where it's never done anything for me.
Okay.
I'm sure that if I went, I'd probably love it, but it's just one of those things where I've never sat there and say, man, I can't wait for deer season. I can't wait for ducks or dove. Like right now, I think dove season opened up here a couple of days ago. A couple of buddies went out there and went dove hunting. The hell that bird did you?
Well, so here's the thing for me and my son. We hunted together. I think I started taking him hunting when he was about 10.
Yeah.
But so for us, it's the whole. I've never done a high fence hunt. I don't have anything against guys that do the high fence hunts. I got one actually planned. Somebody asked me to go later this year. But for us, we're hunting in the woods. So it's not high fence. It's I mean, your scent got to be on point. You gotta make sure you're not making noise. The wind's got to be in your favor. And for us, where we hunt, it's not heavily populated, but people live within proximity. So
you got to be in control of your shots.
Got to be control of everything. And somebody else, on 2 properties over may do something or make a noise or whatever that could end your hunt 2 miles away. So, and so for us, it's not just a shot. The shot is a culmination of everything else.
Everything else.
Right.
I think I would enjoy the hunt.
Right. It's the preparation. So I mean, just like you guys did, in the military, for us, it's the preparation. It's a year round. When we talk about deer hunting here, not specifically hog hunting, but deer hunting, it is a year round preparation from after the season's over to what went right, what went wrong, where do we need to set up a food plot, where do we need to potentially set up, a water plot, what trees, where do we need to, do some trimming and try to create some areas where they feel safe, where they want to come in and out. Do we need to set feeders up here? Do we need to? So it's a year-long process of, and then after that point, when you think you got it right, you go back and you start watching the cameras and you say, okay, well, we're not getting traffic here, and what can we do differently? What's changed? And it was a whole year. That shot in October or November is a culmination of a year's worth of work to get to. We did everything right. This morning, even when we woke up, we did everything right. We don't have cologne on. We controlled our scent. We were quiet. We were stealthy as we moved through the woods. The wind was in our favor. Like, we did everything right for 240 days to this point. And that shot is just really the culmination of all the planning.
So, it's funny because this whole time we've been talking kind of military and tactics and all that. And you said you have no tactical experience.
Sure.
Everything that you just said is tactical experience.
There you go. So I got country tactical experience.
It's a different culmination.
Sure.
But you have intelligence. You're gathering intelligence through the cameras.
Yep.
You're reconning, trying to figure out what's the best way. You have sniper hides.
Yep.
That you got to hide. You've got all of this stuff, all of those elements that we talk about. It may not be with tactical cool guy stuff on, but you're going through the intel, the reconnaissance, the sniper hides, all of that stuff is exactly what we do. It's just we do it with different gear. We do it hunting humans. You're doing hunting deer. So technically, you have a lot of experience in tactics. It just may not be in the same way. So
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. You see, you put the game cameras out. What is that? That's intelligence. It's reconnaissance. You're reconning to see where they are, what time they come in. Do we need to put more? Do we need to trim out this? Now you're setting up for your sniper hide. You've got your sniper on Overwatch. Well, he's going to have to figure out, do I have that shot? Where is the best place for me to get the shot? Same thing you guys are doing. So hunting and all of that, you may not think of it the same way, but it's parallel as far as a lot of the mentality side,
Right. And then we're tracking. Every time we go in and out,
No doubt.
And if you look at our video,
you have to be quiet moving through the woods.
Yep.
You have to be able to have nonverbal communications with your buddies because you don't want to talk. You see what I'm saying? A lot of team movements, a lot of team communication. It's very, very similar, just in a different avenue.
I never thought about it like that because, you're right. When I asked you earlier about trying to be seen or not being seen, etc. If you mess up any one of those elements in the hunt, you don't have a successful hunt. You might as well just go home. You've ruined this hunt. You drop a gun, or a gun falls off a stand, or whatever it is. That's sound. You could have had a deer coming in from 200 yards that just heard that, and you've changed his whole pattern, and now he's alerting his buddies, and they've changed their whole pattern for that morning. You might as well just go home. You
know, a similar thing. You talked about not wearing cologne. We weren't allowed to wear cologne. We couldn't smoke after 6 p.m. People don't realize you can see a cigarette butt miles away in pitch black darkness. You can smell tobacco burn. That's where a lot of us, we learned to dip, chewing tobacco.
Interesting.
We carried a lot of gummy bears. And that's why to this day I have gummy bears a lot. Gummy bears, snacking on, they don't smell. You can't smell them.
I use Skittles.
Skittles are another good one. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I these gummy bears, but gummy bears give you sugar. They'll keep you up at night. They're actually, for what they are, they're relatively good for what you need them for.
Right.
But they don't smell, so you can eat them and not feel like someone's gonna be able to smell. You're eating something crazy. Your enemy can smell that from a mile away. They're like, that's not something we eat. That's right. Let's go that direction. So yeah, I mean, all of that you're talking about, the sense, everything like that, man. And I'm telling you, it's.
I hadn't thought about those parallels, but
there's a lot of them.
I guess you're right, because even the times we're not hunting, when we just go, we're putting out corn or trying something different.
That's recon work, man.
We're checking tracks. We're looking for tracks. We're looking for deer droppings. We're looking for hog droppings. We're looking for, what the heck is that? We got cows in here. We need to change something. Like, I mean, just but it's a year. So when a lot of people say they really don't like hunting, etc., it's not. If you go hunting with someone, like if you come with me and you go hunting, I've already done the recon for you. Yeah, you just gonna go shoot that day. But for us, it's literally a year-round process. And the deer is
it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, I mean, you're buying into deer camps, you're buying into all this, and some of those things, man, they're not cheap.
We feed. I would say probably 9 months, maybe 8 months. But when people say, "Well, if you guys feed, it's not real hunting," etc. No. Like we hunt in a populated area, so there's other people who feed too. I see feeders here. I see feeders there. So at what point, what we try to do a lot is, what can we do here differently to attract and entice hogs and deer that everybody else is not doing? Why would they want to come hunt to my property, or why they're going to come here? So
now, do you hunt on public land or do you hunt on private property?
No, it's a family-owned land. So I've never done public land.
But there are other people that have permission to hunt that land as well?
No.
Or is it just you? Okay, good.
So a few years ago, we let some other guys go out there. Well, I let some other guys go out there because it's my property and do some hunting. They they didn't treat it like it was theirs. I'll just leave it at that. So they no longer get to go out there.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that I'd be nervous about, is knowing that you're not the only ones out there.
Right. Right. Now, if somebody else out there,
people, but I don't trust people.
Yeah. If someone else is out there now, it's a problem. And
it's poacher. Yeah.
It's a problem. We used to have when you talk about overseeing, etc. We used to have and I only got up there once. We had a probably 40-foot high blind, 45 feet. That my son and his little friend used to like to climb up there and watch. And I mean, from that height, you can see everything. So they used to like to go up there and do a lot of recon up there and tell us what they saw and what they saw coming. And I don't know. So I guess there are a lot of parallels. I just really hadn't thought about it like that before.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just one of those things where you've got strategy is strategy.
Strategy.
Ultimately, hunting as far as deer, I'm not saying it was with duck and all of that, and I don't know about hog hunting, but I know deer hunting. Listen to my buddies talk about it. You're a sniper, you know,
If
anywhere
you
from 50 to 200-yard shot, and it has to be precise because if you hit the deer in the wrong spot, you've destroyed the meat basically. So you not only have to hit the deer, but you have to hit in a certain spot to obviously not only humanely kill it to where it's not, struggling, it's not suffering, but also not destroying meat. I mean, you're a sniper.
What do you call a skinny hunter?
A bad shot.
Bad shot. Bad shot, brother. That's it.
Right on.
I can honestly say, and I'm gonna knock on wood. I can honestly say in my 20 plus years of hunting, I've never, regardless of the amount of adrenaline that's pumping through, and I'll be honest with you, man, I've shot a lot of hogs, I've shot a lot of deer, etc. I don't get the same level of excitement that very, very first time. But the other night, because we tried so many times to go out and get this hog with this 6.8.
Yeah.
When those hogs came out the other night, I got that adrenaline rush at that point. Like they were super skittish. Sometimes hogs will come out and they look pretty calm and they're eating the corn and they're just moving really slow. And you can tell they're gonna hang out for a while. These guys were not calm at all. They were super skittish. Don't know if they kind of thought maybe something was different or something was awry, but they weren't really still. They were moving around a lot. It's pitch black. I don't even have a light on my scope. And I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm like, I am not missing. We've been out here for 6.5 hours tonight, bro. I'm not trying to be the skinny hunter. Not tonight.
Now, let me ask you a question. Once again, I'm ignorant when it comes to hunting. I know here in Arkansas, you get X amount of duck or X amount of deer with your tags. Yep. Is hog hunting the same way where you have X amount, or is it just? And is there certain times of the year, or
no?
You
not
can
here.
hog whenever.
With deer, there's archery season, which I believe is October, and deer is November to like January 15th-ish about every year, and you can only shoot them in the daytime.
Yeah.
Hogs, you can shoot them 24/7, 365 here in Texas.
Okay, and there's no tags, there's no permits. It just goes hog hunting.
Take as many as you can get.
Right.
You only got 5. I wish you would have got 10.
Okay. Right. I got you. Nice.
Yeah, it's one of those. So Kevin just asked, CR, did you ever go dove hunting? So I've never done any fowl hunting. I've never duck hunted. I've never dove hunted. The only duck hunting I did was on Nintendo. I was nice on Nintendo. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I was nice on Nintendo. But, that's the only duck hunting I've ever done with the little dog that run out. So that's it for me, man. So I'm gonna go back to my list now. Since I got off track, I'm gonna ask a couple of questions off my list, man. I appreciate your time here tonight, man.
No problem, man.
So for me, you've been on YouTube a lot longer than I have. So this entire time that you've been on YouTube, give me 2 or 3 of the biggest lessons, whether it's about YouTube or whether it's about people, that you've learned since you've been on YouTube.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, I would say don't chase trends. The worst thing you can do is chase a trend, whether it's ammo prices, gun shortages, ammo shortages, politics, whatever it is, whatever the trend of the day, don't chase it, because you're going to get a little bit of surge to do it, but they'll leave because they're only there for one reason. They're there because you're talking about this. I would say this, and this is the best thing that I try to do. I'm not saying I do it all the time. I try to do it, and this is how I've done it my whole time. I make videos that I would watch.
Yep.
And you have to believe that there are other people that have the same interests as you. If that's 10 people or 1 million people, you're going to reach them. They'll find you. Just don't try to grow just to grow. There's a lot of people that do that. Stay true to what you want the channel to be, to what you want to make content, and trust that they'll find you. Okay. It took a while. It took me 3 years to get to 3,000 subs. And in the last year, I'm at 30. All of a sudden, they found me.
They found you.
They found me. And because I stayed consistent, Be consistent, put the content, and that's what I try to do is I put content that I would want to watch. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want to watch that tactical shit or whatever. Cool, don't watch.
Sure.
But there might be 30,000 people out there that do want to watch. And that's who I'm making this for. So I would say that was the big one. It's just be consistent and don't make content just to make content. Make content for a reason. Whether it's to teach someone, to educate someone, to let someone know about whatever mission that your channel has. My biggest mission is concealed carry, training, being self-proficient. That's my mission. So that's why most of my stuff is about concealed carry, drills, training, the guns, and most of the guns that I review are going to be for home defense, personal defense, concealed carry. That's me. So I make the stuff that I would want to watch. The biggest thing that I can tell you besides those are, how do I put this? There are a lot of jackholes on YouTube.
I've been hearing that.
There are a lot of people that are incredibly insincere that will be your friend if they think you can help them, or if they think that you're not a threat. The second that you cannot help them or you become a threat to them, they'll drop you. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. It is cutthroat because everyone's looking for that little sliver of pie from YouTube. Everyone thinks that their life is going to be better if they reach 100,000 subs and they make $1,000 a month. No, it's not. And you're going to find out, unfortunately, there are people that you think are your friends that will step on you to get past you. I'm not trying to be a cynic. Just be careful,
Understood.
That's the best thing. But don't that's the negative stuff. The positive stuff, really enjoy it. The one thing that I didn't think that I would like to do, and now I do a live podcast. I do several podcasts, but I do a live podcast every week, is the interaction. I love it. I love reading comments. To this day, I try to read every comment. It might take me a week or two, but I try to read every comment that comes through any of my videos and all of that.
Yep.
Stay true to the people, especially who are there from day one. As long as they're faithful to you, be faithful to them and never forget, because those are the ones that have seen the growth. They've seen where you were from day one. They're going to see all the ebbs and flows. The people that just come in at the end, they're like, hey, this is a cool channel. Yeah. Those guys, those 3,000 that were here before the other 27,000 showed up, cool. They've been there from day one.
Ride or die.
That's right. Ride or die. Exactly.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool, man. I appreciate the advice. I've been hearing from a lot of.
Have fun.
Have fun. That's it. Have fun.
If it becomes a job to you, stop. Stop it. Just take a break. If it becomes a hassle to go out and make a video and you're not having fun with it, take a month off, take a week off, take 2 weeks off, whatever. Walk away. Don't let it become a job.
Gotcha. I appreciate that advice, man. Who's just jumping in? Paris, what's up? Black Poindexter, great advice. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, we've been doing this for, 7-8 months now. And
you guys are doing great. It took me 3 years to get where you are. The grind is real, dude. But the grind is real, but it's all, that's what's the old saying? The juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
It's worth it. And it'll happen. You'll finally, people will find you. Stay true, stay consistent. They'll find you.
I got you. Let me, so I'm gonna get back on the tactical stuff for a few minutes. I'm asking a couple more questions.
Yep.
So when you guys were going out, did you have, you see all the level 3 stuff and the level 4 stuff, and we got a bunch of homemade stuff that we made on our channel for when the zombies come, because the zombies are coming. So When you guys were out, did y'all what y'all have? Were y'all wearing level 3 stuff, level 4, or nothing? Or
I don't know what it was. We call flak jackets. And they're basically Kevlar.
okay,
They're really heavy vests. That this is back in the 90s. They didn't have plate carriers, and so it was this vest that was really heavy. I'm assuming it was probably equivalent to like a level 4. They just called it a flak jacket, and but we never put plates in. It was just this thing. It was just, and you just velcroed it over your stuff and move on. So it was probably level 4, but it wasn't a plate necessarily, and it wasn't a plate carrier. Those came in after 9/11.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, I've never worn one of those.
a lot of times we didn't wear anything. Honestly, that's what it is.
Wow.
They slow you down sometimes.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing when you talk about tactical and movement, etc. Kind of like we talked about with the paintball. Regardless of how much tactical training you got, if you can't hit me, if you don't know the weapon system, you can't hit me, then you lose. And if you got so much gear and stuff on that you can't move in the field, and you're slower than your enemy, then you lose. I mean, great, you had a bulletproof vest on, but he sniped you, he headshotted you, so you still lose.
Ultimately, it comes down to, even if you're wearing level 4 plates and you get shot, may not kill you, but you're out of the fight. It's going to hurt like a sumbitch.
Yeah.
So it's you're out of that fight. So a lot of the guys probably don't even wear anything much out. You know, if they're on a normal patrol, they will. But if they're trying to get in and out or somewhere like that, some of the guys probably don't. I can't speak to that because I don't know. But
Sure.
a lot of the guys that I know said a lot of times they wouldn't wear anything. It was more of a hassle. If they're going to shoot you, they're going to shoot you. That's the way it is.
So let me ask you: if you got to go out right now and you had to go out and you had to do a mission, what would you got a rifle and a pistol? What would your pistol be and what would your rifle be?
So I can't show it because we're live. My battle rifle's right over here.
Okay.
And my battle rifle is kind of one that I spent several years putting together. Kind of a Frankenstein, if you will. The shell of it is a Smith & Wesson M&P 15, 18-inch. But basically the only thing that is still Smith & Wesson is the shell. Everything, new barrel, BCG, everything is put together. It's kind of Frankenstein. I've got some videos on. I shoot it a lot, but it's cammied up. It's it's a bad mother. I've got it gassed. Everything's perfect. Like I know what that thing is going to do. It's fine tuned, and I spent time fine tuning that thing. So that'll be my rifle. And
hold on before you move on. I'm sorry. And you shooting 5.56, 7.62 by
5.56.
5.56.
Green. If I'm going zombie or the Red Dawn scenario, I'm going green tip 5.56. Yeah.
So why? So have you heard about the silver tips? I think Winchester just came out with some silver tips. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't got a chance to use them yet.
I haven't shot them yet.
Okay.
No.
So I got a box of Gun in the Hookah. Hey, Gun in the Hookah, man. If you want to jump in, jump in. You know Gun in the Hookah?
I don't know.
He's a cool guy. Super. And he knows a heck of a lot more about guns than I do. Ex-military also. Super good guy, man. Super chill guy. Anyway, so why 5.56 over 7.62 by 51?
I like the versatility of the 5.56 over 308. The 308 is going to get a little more punch. I get that, but you're talking about a heavier weapon system. Typically, if I'm in that Red Dawn or zombie scenario, I need to be agile. I need to be able to move in and out. So the 5.56 comes in at about 6 to 8 pounds or something like that, where a 308 is going to come in 8 to 10 pounds, maybe even more, depending on what you have. You're talking bipod at that point. You're talking probably a bigger scope. So a 5.56, once again, I'm not going to be a long range guy. I work 300 yards and in.
Okay.
And I guarantee you, I can take that 5.56 anywhere from 1 yard to 300 yards, and I'll own you. In that Red Dawn scenario, I'll own you in that scenario. The 308's great. I don't need that extra oomph. I'm not going to reach out and scratch 500 to 800 yards, 1,000 yards in that scenario. You're going to get close enough to me to where I own you, and I want to own you. So I go 5.56. It's a versatile round. It's like I said, the weapon system is a lighter round because if you're in that zombie or Red Dawn, you're not going to be up in a sniper hide. You're going to be having to move for whatever reason. So that's got to be a lighter weapon system for you. That's just me.
So, off the subject real quick, Gun in the Hookah, what's up?
So,
appreciate you jumping in. Ghost Tactical.
Man.
Gun in the Hookah, Ghost Tactical.
Right on, man. How you doing?
So, both of these guys got super cool channels. If you just jumping in, hit that like button for us.
I'm digging the fedora, dude. I love it.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
I knew he was going to come in with something.
I had on.
Yeah.
Junior, man. Yeah, I just subbed you, Ghost Tactical. I heard about you and the fact that you wore the boots as well, and I see the crayons in the background.
Yeah, man. You gotta love it. You gotta embrace it, right?
I had the evening snack, man. Got to have that evening.
This actually came from a viewer, a fan.
Nice.
Sent this to me in the mail, and it's not just a crayon box. Plays taps. If you push this one, it plays taps.
Oh wow.
Semper Fidelis.
Nice.
Marine Corps hymn. Sent it to me. So that's like the coolest gift I ever got. So that stays right there at all time.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I had a family member in the Corps, old school Corps.
Yeah.
And he passed away a couple of years ago. So I do every year for Veterans Day, I do like a memorial shoot for him, even though, Memorial Day, but I do it on Veterans Day.
Sure.
And it's, right after the Marine Corps birthday. So it falls
day after,
right in line with it. So I do that as well. So shout out Semper Fi. So, even though I'm Army, we still brothers in boots, right?
Here's the thing, and people don't know this. I'm going to give you shit for being an Army dog, and you're going to give me shit for being a jarhead. But if someone that's not anything starts talking about either one of us, you got everyone to deal with.
Well, of course, man. You know that. Boots always talk trash about each other.
Always, when it comes down to it, the same flag, Yep.
Could be like this. Army ain't ready for Marines yet. Marines, muscles are required. Intelligence not essential, right? So we go at it, but we still the same day. We still wore them boots.
We all make fun of the Air Force. We can all agree on that.
Air Force, Air Force always
jealous. That's because we're jealous of their living conditions. They live in country clubs, man.
Exactly. They have the sweet setup. They get paid. It's funny. We have a station on some Army bases. They get paid for substandard living. Ain't that something? They get extra money for their conveniences.
So this is like no joke, for real. I was over in Japan, and our base was the base that when people can we in and out, people in and out. So they had extra barrack buildings in case people were coming in and out. So they always had room for everyone. And they were doing some work at the Air Force base about an hour away. And so they sent up like E1s, E2s, and E3s up to our base to live in the barracks while they're working on their housing. They spent 2 days in our barracks and they were gone. We're like, where'd the fly boys go? They said, we had to put them in officers' quarters because your living conditions were unsatisfactory for them. I'm like, we live in this every day.
Wow.
Well, E2 was staying in the same living condition as an O3, a captain in the Marine Corps. We're like, must be nice. So we were like, I need to get that gig. I want that gig.
Yeah, for sure, man. They get the good stuff. That's why we all call them barracks. They call them dorms. Like they
call them dorms or condos. I mean, hell, they're condos. What they are,
Like,
come on, I'm sorry, didn't mean to roll up on your grill time,
Yeah,
your balcony, your balcony and shit,
we get their hand. It's funny. We get some of our units, but we get their hand me down, like their old office furniture. We got it, and it's better than some of our. You know what I mean? So
we were excited too.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
Beds. They were like down the Air Force base. I don't care. Those are sweet beds,
Yeah, their stuff they're giving away is better than stuff we get brand new. It's wow. Hey, man.
It's real. It's real.
Air Force, it's definitely real.
The Air Force is real.
Yeah. The only thing we got on them is we get promoted faster. We make rank a lot faster.
Santee must be a chair force.
She's a chair force.
Hey, he was smart enough to join them. We're just jealous. We are jealous.
That's all it is. Just a little bit of hate.
We just wish we could have been in the
for real, man. I was like, man. The Air Force's daddy. How the hell the offspring get better stuff than the daddy? You know?
God,
the Air Force used to be known as U.S. Army Air Corps. Don't forget. We your daddy.
That's right.
So, Ghost, right. I got another question for you. So, Black Poindexter asked, so what about your zombie scenario, your Red Dawn scenario? He asked, what your thoughts would be on 7.62 by 39 that scenario? Would that be something you run away from, the AK?
I love AKs. Actually, all right, so here's the deal. When it comes to shooting,
what's up, Rusty?
I prefer an AK-47. I love the X39 round. Love the X39 round. When it comes to shooting, I would choose an AK every day. When it comes to that Red Dawn / zombie apocalypse, I'm taking AR because of the modularity of the platform. There are AKs that you can get Picatinny rails and put some optics and some different furniture on, but an AR is lighter, and you're going to be able to put whatever scope you want on there, a light, a bipod, whatever it is that you want for that scenario. The modularity of the AR platform, I love. Now, I actually have an AR platform that shoots 7.62 by 39. That's a bad mojo right there. But no, I love the X39 round. I actually prefer shooting an AK over an AR. My favorite, before we went down range, we had to go to what they call foreign weapons training. And we got to shoot a full auto AK-47 and 74s. But we had to, because if we had to pick up their weapon system, we had to know at least how to work it, right? And the first time you shoot, if you never shot a full auto AK, it's one of the joys that you'll ever have in your life. I tell people all the time, shooting an AR, especially full auto, is great. If you haven't shot a full auto AK, you need to go find someone that has one and shoot. It's unbelievable. It's the most fun thing you'll shoot. It really is. I love an AK, but for that scenario, I'm choosing the AR platform just simply because of the modularity. That's really nothing against the AK or the 7.62 by 39 round. It's the modularity of the platform.
So, Gun the Hookah, what about you? So the question that I asked, I don't know if you were in the chat when I asked, is end of the world scenario, zombie apocalypse, Red Dawn scenario. What's your go-to? You got one rifle. And I haven't let Ghost answer the question about the pistol yet, but you got one rifle. What you taking?
SKS Type 56.
Oh snap!
Okay,
nice.
What is that shooting? What caliber is that?
Shoots 3.9, 7.62 by 3.9.
Okay.
It's all wood, fixed bayonet that you fold under. The only, I guess, to a lot of people, the only downside to an SKS is because it has a 10-round fixed mag. You can also have some of the paratrooper ones that have a 20-round fixed, right? And then they have a few that have been converted to take AK mags. So you can kind of switch it up a little bit. And you got fixed 40-round and 75-round drums that you can actually put onto your SKS. But it's just, you get that marksmanship up. And if you run out of ammo, you got a weapon in itself. It's all wood with a metal butt plate. It's got that bayonet, and it's extremely durable. It's battle tested. It's been used in the late part of World War II. Been used in Vietnam, Korea, and it's still being used today. So it's definitely a battle tested rifle. And you run out of ammo, you still got a weapon, because you could lay somebody out with that bad boy. I guess
that was the Russian design SKS, right?
Yes, the Type 56 is the Chinese.
The Chinese, okay. I didn't know which one was which. Okay.
Yeah, the Tula is the Russian one.
That's right. Okay, you're right.
You can tell by the bayonets look a little different, because they have the Russians have more of a poke. Also, if you sharpen, you can slash. The Chinese have one that's just straight for impale, almost like the Mosin Nagant style bayonet. Yeah. Yep. Poke a big hole in, you can't stitch it up, bleed out.
Yeah. That's you said that, I was like, snap, that'd be good.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite one right there. I love ARs, plenty of experience with those. I have, AR. I have a couple of 50 Beowulfs, a 500 Automax, 450
Nice.
Bush, beautiful AR. I'm with Ghost Tactical. It's extremely versatile. ARs are versatile. They're user friendly. Anybody who's ever been in the military, that should be by default. You should have one of those in your safe, because it's a gun you use, you practiced on, you know the ins and outs of that firearm from field strip all the way down. At least you should. I can't speak for officers, but for enlisted people,
take eaters, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. You may come across. You don't follow that general that was on CNN. He's a bad example of how to use an AR. But it's very versatile, and it comes in various calibers. If you just don't want a 223, you want a 7.62, build you an AR-74. I mean AR-47, right?
AR-47.
So you could do that. But yeah, that's me on that one. SKS for sure.
Okay, Ghost. Your pistol of choice. What you gonna take? What your pistol gonna be, man?
All right. So I did a video on this last month. For the longest time, my battle pistol would have been a Glock 19. I've got thousands of rounds through Glock 19s and never had any problems. You can drop it in mud. You can do anything, and that thing will ultimately, in that situation, you want a farm that goes bang every time, right? Ultimately, that's what you want, is a reliable gun. The Glock 19 was for me. Over the last few years, the Canik TP9 has taken the place of the Glock 19. I know it sounds crazy. It's half the price or whatever. If you've never shot a Canik TP9, you'll never find a better like stock trigger than a Canik, maybe a Walther PPQ. It's right there. But a Canik trigger is unbelievable, and that thing will run. It will eat any kind of ammo, any grain, doesn't matter. It will eat whatever you put through it. So right now, I never thought I'd say this. I would probably take the Canik TP9 over the 19. So I would strap the 19, the Canik TP9 on my side. No doubt. I know people don't know what the hell. I'm telling you, go shoot a Canik TP9 and tell me, and I'll just say you're welcome.
Yeah. So I saw that video. I watched that video the other day. So
it's crazy, man. The thing is so good. I've had it for about 2 years now, 2 or 3 years, and every day, every time I shoot it, it's my carry gun now. I mean, every time I shoot it, it keeps getting better. Keeps getting better.
Okay. What about you, Gun the Hoop?
Well, I have a choice. I'm stuck between three. I'm definitely a Canik TP9 SF. Well, Canik guy. Definitely one of the best out of box triggers.
Absolutely.
You could get aftermarket triggers, but that out of box, that reset is crisp.
About a tenth of an inch. It is beautiful.
Beautiful. So that's a really good gun. And either I want to go old school, Tokarev TTC.
I could go with that,
7.6225, battle tested, all steel. Russians knew what they were doing, man. So
no doubt.
And then if I want to go spinner, I'm going with the bear gun, man. I'm going my Ruger Red Hawk Alaskan 454 Casull.
454 Casull, man, that would be fun as hell.
Oh, it's I carry that every now and again. I just like big bore. Yeah, oh yeah. Man. It's a lot, people like the same thing. People don't like the revolvers because they feel old school and cowboy like, or everybody's into the tack black, right? So and then plus you don't have a lot of rounds, but when you're shooting 454 Casull, do you really need a lot of rounds? And I got a couple of speed loaders to go with it. So I can get nasty with it if I need to, but ultimately my top one would be the Canik, also TP9 SF. Yep.
That's crazy. That's awesome. I love it. I never would have guessed there'd be two people on a panel saying that. And I'm telling you, if you haven't shot one, please. It doesn't matter what model. Nope. Go shoot a TP9, and you're welcome.
That's my EPC right now. It's a Elite SE.
I've got the SF Elite. That's the one that I've got. It's a carry gun. It's basically the same as a Glock 19 size, roughly. Yeah.
It's just got the tungsten slide is a little bit heavier, a little bulkier, but accurate gun, and it's
fiber optic sight, blacked out rear stock.
Yep. And you come out the box with it, and then of course you get the holster and all. Out of box, it's probably out of box.
You can literally leave the gun shop.
Yep.
And be protecting yourself Yeah, the holster and everything.
That self out the box dry is
crazy.
Yeah,
we get paid by Canik. We sound like a damn commercial for Canik, you know.
We do, man. I mean, hey, send me a couple of them, some of them joints, man.
No, they're good people over there. They really are. They're good people.
Yeah, they got really, really good guns. It's a Chinese surplus Type 56 450, a good deal. In these times,
right now, yes.
Absolutely. Right before the plague,
that's about double what it used to be.
Yeah. Sometimes, shoot, I'd go as far as say triple.
Yeah. So I was in Tulsa at Wanamaker in April, and I'm not joking when I say this. They had the Chinese SKSs for $1,200 to $1,300.
I like that.
I didn't say I'm not saying they were selling them, but everyone had them marked for $1,200 or $1,300. And I was like, you could take the one off of that, and you're still a little high.
Oh, absolutely.
He's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, man. Yeah,
I seen one as high as 5,000, but it was a Vietnam bringback with papers. So you're gonna pay for those. But
these are the ones you were buying for $200 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My first Yugo I bought for $2 and change.
Yeah,
might have been less than that. So if you get one for $450, get it, especially that Type 56.
Right now, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. If you get that Paratrooper one, that's the one. That's that one in the Tula. The SKSs are the one.
Paratrooper is pretty damn cool, man.
Yeah, that's a cool one. Yep.
Now you might want to get it now and start stocking up on some ammo.
Yes.
Yeah.
All day. All day.
Okay.
So Ramsey J said, "What do you guys think of the new Canik Mid series? You guys seen that?"
I want one. I want one.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be having one here soon. No doubt.
It's gonna have a home here as well. Yep.
No doubt. 100%.
That's the answer. I remember buying SKS for $89.
$89. I think the lowest ever sold was like $175. I never saw someone for $89. That would be awesome though.
That was back in that had been back in the 90s.
Probably.
Back when they had the assault weapons ban. That's when Curio Relics really started to, especially the semi-autos, the FN49s, the SKSs, and a few other ones. They're semi-automatic platforms that weren't touched with the assault weapons ban. So back in the early 90s. Yep. So devil
$89. Man, if I would have known that back then,
I'd have me a whole
crate. I'd have a wall full of them.
Yep, I'd have a crate. I'd have every last one of them. I would have every last one. I'd have about 15 of them.
It's crazy how now those mill serps are coming back around, and you see the prices going up. It's economics 101. It's supply and demand, but ultimately, like you guys said, I mean, I could have bought 100 Mosins for $75-$80, 10 years ago. And now you can't get one for less than $400 or $500.
Yeah, exactly. My Mosins. Yeah, if you get an M44 for 3
years ago.
Yeah. If you get an M40, especially M44s, if you get an M44 with all matching numbers, if you get the you'll be, if you can find one for $500, you're doing something. Yep.
I'll tell you another one that's starting to go up are the M1 Grands. Those are starting to go up. I mean, you're talking about $1,200 for an M1 Grand. Are you kidding me?
They were like $600-$700 about 5 years ago. Now I've seen them as high as $2,500.
Yeah, the cheapest one I saw, I was looking for one. The cheapest one I saw was $1,200, and it was in bad shape. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Anything you're gonna pay at least $2,000. Yep.
So the gun pointing video that we dropped last week, it was an M1 and it was $1,200.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
And that one was pretty clean too, the one you had in your video.
What'd you say?
It looked pretty clean.
Oh yeah. It was nice. It was in pretty good condition. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get that Swiss? Was the M31? I think it was.
You have to watch the next gun pointing video.
Hey, I'm gonna be watching because that was a sweet little piece too. I was like, shout out to Mill Serves. Oh man, M44 for $90. Gosh, $99. You were probably Tallapoosa sounds like he's probably been around pre-86.
Wow.
He probably bought him a machine gun for like $200 pre-86. Oh, the old timers know the stuff, man. You gotta follow the old timers. They know their stuff.
Yeah.
$1,000 for 1,700. That's actually not a bad deal, honestly.
Yeah,
1,700 for $1,000 if it's in good shape.
It's in good shape, or if you get
That's
that tanker
thing. It's $1,000 more than it should be, but it's not a bad deal right now.
Right.
a
Yeah,
bad
right
deal
now.
right now.
Yeah, I thought this gun punting was gonna be a good idea, but ultimately, since I hooked up with RGG and he told me about this layaway game, yeah, it's a terrible idea now for me to be going to all these pawn shops. I'm like, ooh, I want that. Can
You'll
just put on
find some
layaway.
beautiful guns in the pawn shops.
Yeah,
Beautiful guns. You'd be like, because either people either hard up for money or they don't know what they got.
yeah.
Wait a year or so. You'll see some cool stuff come through the pawn shops in about a year from now.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
So Black Poindexter said, what's your advice to those of us that missed the low cost train? Should we buy now or hope the prices go down?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm sorry, go. I don't want to take over. I'm just daggone.
No, go ahead, man. That's why I brought you in.
As far as CNRs, they've been going up for a while. Even with the plague, they were going up.
They were.
You just saw $99 in the 90s, and they've just gone up ever since. I was looking at SVT 40, and it was for $1,200. It was pristine. That same gun, a year later, it's going for $4,500. Yeah, CNR. So get it now. Look around. Don't just buy the first one you see. Look around. And grab a decent one and be prepared to clean that grease off. So some of them will be wrapped up and be all greased up so they don't, rust and all that stuff. So you're gonna have your hand work cut out for you to clean it up, but get it now. You can look for stocks. If the stock is a little messed up, you can get a different stock for it. You may not, have matching numbers, but the stock is a little different. Piece of wood,
Yeah. As far as like just in generalities of buying firearms right now, there are still some really good deals out there. You can find some really good deals. But ultimately it comes down to if you're looking for a Glock 19, I'm just going to throw that out there, a Glock 19 because you want to start carrying or it's for home or self-defense. And you're willing to pay $700 instead of $450 because getting that gun that's the gun you want. And that gun's going to help protect you and your family. If you're willing to pay $700 instead of waiting a year to come back to $450 or $500, then that $700 is a good deal to you. Right. It depends on, are you looking for something to collect that you're not going to shoot, or are you going to shoot it and use it for something in particular? Then get it. You don't wait to save a life. If it's just something for fun and collection, yeah, you can probably wait a year or so. But if you're looking to get a gun to start protecting yourself and your family and carrying or whatever, and you have to pay about $150 more than you could, but that $150 in your price range, you can afford that, then it's absolutely 100% worth to get it now. Don't wait. That's just me.
Right.
Okay. So let me ask y'all a question about. So I went to a pawn shop and it's coming out in the video coming up, the next gun punting video we put out. But I was listening.
We gotta watch it, homie.
We gotta watch it, man.
I just got a question. So, I'm not gonna give you too much away.
All right.
What do y'all think about the Glock 43 for carry?
I like it.
Nice.
It's a good gun. It was probably the best gun in the market when it came out.
Okay.
For 9mm single stack 9mm, it was probably the best. Now you've got the SIG P365. Even in the Glock, you've got the 43X or the 48. I think the 48's probably a better gun. I would say
the 43 and the 48.
Size, basically, the 48 is the direct answer for Glock for the SIG P365. Okay. That's their direct answer to that. I would say this. Now, are you wanting the 43 because of the size?
Yes.
Okay. Then I think you could probably go with the 43X or the 48 and you wouldn't be overwhelmed with the size of that. If you want something bigger, I'd go with the 26. If you're going to go a little higher, but I like the 43. When the 43 came out, now the great thing about the 43 is because the 43X and the 48 have come out.
Sure.
You can find a really good deal on a 43 right now. So it's a great gun.
Like Poindexter said, what is your EDC? I sounded like you had a couple that you kind of go
I rotate about, sounds bad. I rotate about 3 or 4. I've got the Canik TP9 SF Elite, the Beretta APX. I have the GLOCK 19 and the CZ P10 subcompact. Those are the 4. And then sometimes a shield, depending on if I have to go smaller for a pocket carrier or whatever. But the main 4, the Walther PPQ subcompact also. Good Lord, yeah. I got about 5 that I rotate. Most of the time, it's the Canik TP9 SF Elite though. That's the main one.
What about you, Gunner Hookah?
Depends how I feel that day.
Right.
I usually either most of the time I'll do my Ruger Red Hawk. Super Red Hawk. I love carrying that. Occasionally, I've done the 500 Smith, my high vis.
Damn.
And Glock 19
open carry.
I do open carry. Well, the Smith Wesson I open carry.
You have to, yeah.
You're printing. I may have a longer shirt.
You got to be going open carry, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna print. I mean, I sometimes wear a bigger shirt, but you can't hide something like that.
Yeah, no.
You just go see it. I do have my holster is fastened, so you're gonna have a lot of work pulling that from me, and I'm gonna feel you. So. I'm very, and I'm kind of real on my situational awareness. I don't let nobody get too close, especially when I'm carrying.
Man, you and I, we got to hang when you and I are right there in a lot of things.
I don't like people get too close. If I see somebody too close, I'm wondering what they're doing. I take a couple steps away from
space. Yep,
I need space. Ankle carry, I'll do my Kimber Micro 9.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yep. Right in the palm of the hand. I can hide it behind my hand. Really nice gun. Yep.
Ankle carry, huh? I haven't gotten into ankle carrying yet, fellas.
Yeah, the ankle bracelet's kind of cool, man.
We wearing a suit or something like that, or it's more of a backup gun. It might be your secondary carry, it might even be your primary. But sometimes if you're going to be somewhere where, you have to adapt a little bit. Ankle carry is really, and if you're gonna, and it's just me, do what you want to out there. If you're gonna go ankle carry, if you're right-handed, please don't put it on the right side. Put it inside left ankle. If I see people trying to do too many things and putting in the wrong position, and they're putting themselves in a bad position to draw from the ankle. But wherever you do carry, make sure you're practicing. But people that are new to ankle carry, you're gonna have to figure out the best thing for you. But that is something new to everyone. People don't think about drawing and all of that. That drawing is a big deal for ankle carry. You got to figure out: do you go down when you go to one knee? Do you go on your right knee or your left knee?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
You got to figure out where you go naturally, and then that's where you put your holster on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those things people don't think about that, but ankle carry is good, but you have to practice it a little bit.
Yeah, well, I definitely need to practice it more, but it's definitely. And I got that gun particularly as a pocket pistol. Yep. I don't really want to put it in my pocket because I value my nuts too much. So,
no, I understand.
In my foot,
I don't understand the whole appendix carry.
I don't do that. I
don't do that.
Nope. Especially when you're doing condition zero. When you got one in the pipe, and that trigger's light. Or now, if you and let you be a one that had that Black Hawk, that Black Hawk holster,
it'd be a lot more than the boys missing. I think.
Yeah, man, you chewing something up. So it's definitely
Yeah. Said, do y'all carry a backup gun? If so, which one?
I have several in the vehicle with me. I have some in a backpack that I'll have with me on person. Very rarely will I ever, because I'll put it this way. If I'm carrying a 17+1 on my hip and I need more, something's gone terribly wrong. Let's be honest. So I don't carry on my person typically a backup gun. Now I'll have several in my vehicle, a couple in a backpack that are going to be within arm's reach at all times. So yeah. I'll have other things, but on my person, I typically don't.
Gotcha. Black Poindexter, see, he got that. RGG talked about this a few weeks ago. That's that addiction right there, man. Not supposed to be buying firearms. I got 1, 2,
got an MPAP 92 right in there. Love that bad boy. I love that. Some of my favorite guns to shoot is the stop of the PAP 92 right over there.
Yeah, man. I got it on the wall. I got mine SBR'd. I got the stamp on mine.
Oh, did you? I need to. I've got a brace on. I'm waiting. It sounds bad. If they're gonna come and try to screw us with pistol braces, then I'm sending about 12 things in to get SPR'd. At this point,
they've been having this joint for like years. They've been talking about doing it, and it comes down to the money, right?
That's all it is.
That's it. And until the Attorney General comes out and gives a date, which would be a year. If they did it now, it would take effect until next year. Mm-hmm. Keep buying the braces. Keep buying it. Keep buying it. Keep buying it. Because what they also propose, if they were doing it, they also propose on getting people to do the stamp, but not charge them the $200.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they're not going to charge me $200 for it, I'm sending 12. They're going to spend $2,500 of their own money for my shit.
Exactly. You're not going to charge me for the stamp. If I got to do it, you ain't going to charge me.
All in. They say, we're going to be on a list. I'm already on a list, bro.
For real. Yeah. I'm on a list. I got my typo 7 FFL on the way. I got a typo 3 FFL. I got a few stamps, and everything else is virtually 4473. It's kind of late to worry about.
You're already on the list, so you might as well. You free stamps. I'm going to send everything and get stamps.
Exactly, man. It's like your paperwork already told on you. So unless you're doing 80% all day, you're going to be on somebody. They already know that you got something.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, anytime I go to get a firearm now, and they run your name and your social, etc. I'm like, dude, it's gonna take like 0.2 seconds and it's gonna go through. And they're like, all right, whatever, man. And every time they run it, it's like 0.2 seconds and it comes back.
I don't have to do a background check.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In Arkansas, your concealed carry permit serves as your background check. So I'll fill the 4473 out.
Yep. Yeah.
See ya. So it's great. Right. Is that the way in Texas also? No, where are you at? Up, I know he's in Texas. Where are you at?
I'm up in Maryland. So for pistols, we got to do a 70. We got to do a 77 for the pistols.
You're fighting. You're fighting the hard fight.
It's not that bad. You got to wait a couple of days. You kind of get used to it. Long guns is cash and carry. Same thing. 4473.
Okay.
You out. And Maryland's laws aren't that bad, but they're just kooky. Like you can't carry a pistol without a permit, but you can open carry long guns. Okay.
Now, are y'all a shall issue or a may issue state?
We're a may issue state.
That's what the mess. That's where it gets tricky.
Yeah, that's what I messed up. If it was a shall issue, they'd make a lot more money. And I guess we got to convince them that you'd make a lot more money because how many people would go and just require you to take a class or training. No big deal. You got to do that anyway.
Yeah, you got to do that anyway.
So
now I don't agree with mandated training, but everyone should want to go and learn how to use a firearm.
Right. At least the basics.
A basics 101 class. This is how you load it. This is how you clean it. This is the basic fundamentals. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. That's the only thing. The only thing about Maryland is a pistol. And there's some guns on the list you can't have, but as you can see, I'm not hurting.
Not in California.
Yeah, we're not, or New York City's probably the worst.
New York City's bad, yeah. The city is real bad.
City's really bad, bad. But I'll say my typo 7 should be here soon, so I'll be exempt from all that anyway. So,
gotcha.
Even better.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
If you guys just jumping in, hit that like for us and go check out Ghost Tactical and Gun and the Hookah's channels, man. They both got really good channels, both really good dudes. Both, as you guys can hear, super knowledgeable about all these firearms, man. I learned a lot when I'm in these chats. I learned a lot from these guys. I mean, like I told you guys, man, I'm a country boy. I'm simple. I'm just gonna try to get you out in the woods. We're not gonna fight in the city. I'm gonna take you out in the woods and turn the lights off in the woods. So that's it.
It get dark in the woods, man.
It
get dark in the woods.
I'll tell you one thing. If we're in the woods, I want you on my team. Because you can have all the tactical training in the world, but if you're not sure of the woods, it's a whole nother darkness. I mean, when it gets dark in the woods, it's a different level of being. It's dark. You got critters making noise, and you hear things moving through leaves, and you're like, "What in the hell is going on here?"
Get your night vision. Go ahead,
every time I take a city boy to the woods, what you are explaining right now is exactly. He like, I am never coming out here with you again.
Oh, the woods is crazy, man.
Ever.
You know what's crazy too? I don't know which is scary, when it's 9 o'clock at night in the woods, when it's just pitch black, or when it's 1 o'clock in the morning and your night vision has adjusted. And you start seeing every silhouette out there. And you don't know if it's a tree,
you don't know what it
or what it is. You know, a shrub or a boar or a bear. You don't know what's lurking in those woods at that time because everything looks the same.
Yeah. So when we were out there the other night, I said something about RGG on the stream the other night just because I know, you know, he's a city boy and he coming out there soon. And Zach had his light and I was like, man, turn that light off. Zach turned his light off and I said, let me turn mine off. And I turned mine off and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I was like, when we get RGG out here, I'm kidding. So if you're watching RGG, just know I'm killing all the lights when you come out there, man.
That night vision. As the best lights to use is the colored lenses. You know?
They are.
Yep.
Cam lights also.
You get like the yellow shooting glasses at night.
Yeah.
They say they were great. Now, here's the thing. If you can get past that first 15 minutes of being in the dark and actually allow your eyes to adjust, but most people don't get to that 15 minutes. They start freaking out. They want to turn their flashlights on. Turn your lights off.
Turn your lights off. You got to.
You know? But if you can get your eyes adjusted, you can see a long way at night. Naturally.
Oh, yeah. It gets clear as everything. Only thing is everything's silhouetted. So
it is.
But it's a lot easier to see at 1 o'clock in the morning when your eyes have adjusted to night vision.
And if you get a little bit of moonlight coming in, it looks like it's just lit up at that point.
It looks like it's daytime sometimes. Yep. But yeah, when you turn on a regular light and then turn it back off, ooh.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Exactly. So
yep, that's where I want to be, man. I want to be in the woods, man. It's funny because every time we go out and hunt, then I come back to the city, I'm like, damn, I just want to be in the woods, man. Mama don't want to be in the woods, so Mama, if you're still listening, I love you. But she don't.
We're out in rural Arkansas here, big hills and woods, everything. It's a small town, and something ever happens, right out my back door is the hills. Bring it on, you know. When people say they head to the hills, there's a reason why they head to the hills.
That's it. That's it. If you can beat me in the woods, you're a bad man.
Yep.
Any moonlight is hella bright. Yep. That's true.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be direct moonlight. If it's just coming through the trees, just enough. I mean, man.
Oh yeah, it's a nice, you know, definitely it's peaceful out there. I like the woods every now and again, you know. Especially when I was younger. I loved the woods when I was younger.
Yeah, when I first took my son hunting, like I said, he was 10 or 11. I took him and a couple of buddies out there. And they had some little 22s and stuff. And I was like, all right, we're gonna get this hunting. And it was literally a tree that had fallen in the middle of the woods. They were like, well, we got a blind. I'm like, no, yeah. Climb up and get on the tree. Like that's where we hunted from the night. Right. I don't know, maybe an hour into it, we had a pack of probably 25 to 30 coyotes that were pretty close. That they started, you know, doing their little howling, etc. And they were like, "Can we go now?" I'm like, "No. We in for the night, fellas."
They're not going to climb that tree. Yeah, we have panthers that live around here, and I had never been around a panther. And this is when we first moved about 10 years ago. And I heard this horrific, like it sounded like there was a woman being murdered. And I was like, what is that? They said, that's a panther. I thought panthers growled. No, it's a cry that's just like the most scary sound you've ever heard in your life. And you're like, what is that? And there's panthers. But if you're up in a tree, the only thing that's going to come get you would be a bear. Now, if you're around bears, you're done to begin with because they can go, they're going to go anywhere. But coyotes and panthers and bobcats, whatever, they're not going to go up a tree. That's why you get up in a tree, you know?
Right. Except that bear. Yeah, he going to come up there with you.
Oh, that bear coming up there.
That bear's going to get you. There is nothing scarier than a bear. That bear can run 30 miles an hour. It can climb. It can swim. Luckily, you only have to outrun one person. That's all you got to worry about.
That's it. That is it.
Outrun one or trip one.
I ain't got to be faster than the bear. I just got to be faster than the people I'm with.
That's right. One person is all I got to beat.
That's it. Sorry.
Hey, I love you, but hey.
You know?
But I already told Zach. I've told him a million times. I'm like, look, dude, if we're in the woods and we get a hog that come out or a coyote and I get taken down to attack, man, just keep the camera rolling. I mean, because I'm done at that point. So you might as well get some views out of it.
You're getting some views, get good content, make some money off of it.
Yeah. Them hogs are nasty, man.
They're vicious, man. They're I mean, so I think one of the things that make wild animals so vicious is the difference in mentality between the animal kingdom and humans. So when we get in those situations, we start thinking about, wives and girlfriends and friends and relatives and losing
Morals.
people and that kind of stuff. And they don't have that in the animal kingdom. So it's just survival in that moment, and that's it.
Kill or be killed.
Yeah, and those hogs are vicious, man. Go watch a video of one in the cage, and you'll see just how vicious they are. So you imagine how hard they run and smash into one of those cages, how it would feel if one jumped out of the bush and smashed into you going 30 miles an hour.
Anything that's moving that fast that weighs that much is going to do some serious damage.
It's going to hurt a lot.
It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna jump off here. I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got guest co-says. Yeah, I subbed you. I'll be checking out some of your content.
Yeah, I'll be checking you out too, man. We need to hook up sometime.
Oh, for sure, man. Definitely, man. Definitely. I'll bring some toys out. But yeah, I appreciate it, Junior. We'll holler, man. Y'all be safe.
Good, baby.
Yes, sir. Y'all be all right.
Very good.
I'll be back in the chat, y'all.
All right, man.
All right.
Yeah, Ghost, man. So we've been rocking this thing for 2.5 hours, man.
No idea. Yeah, I've got to get out of here in a minute probably, but I got a little bit.
I appreciate you, man. Actually, I'm gonna go and shut this thing down. So, like I said, I appreciate your time. I know you've been in here for an hour and a half longer than you thought you were gonna be able to do tonight.
Oh, I really had fun. I really had a good time.
Good, yeah, me too, man. I appreciate you hanging out, and I have to come hang out with you sometime.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
So I got 15 questions here, and we made it through like 3. So we definitely have to do this again.
I'm sorry.
Started chasing this and chasing that.
Hey,
So
the rabbit holes are real, man. I'm telling you, you can get stuck in a rabbit hole quickly.
The rabbit holes are real. But so, hey, if you guys are just jumping on or you've been on for a while, make sure you go check out Ghost Tactical, man. Super cool dude, super knowledgeable. Again, I thank you for your service, man, to our country.
My honor.
Appreciate you coming hang out, spend time with me tonight. Hit that like if you hadn't already. Hit that like button for us, man. And man, we have to do this again soon. We're gonna get that paintball thing.
Here, let me know. Hey, the paintball thing better happen. I'm telling you, it better happen.
We're gonna do the paintball thing. I promise you, I'm not gonna practice before. I'm just gonna get a bunch of regular dudes like me, and we're gonna take on your squadron.
Lord have mercy. That'll be interesting.
And see where the chips fall, man. Hey, you know what? I actually, for my birthday, my wife got me a GoPro. We started doing this. That's right. Started doing this YouTube stuff, and all right, Black Point Dexter, I appreciate you jumping in. You too, Nutty. And I haven't even used it in any of the videos yet, but man, we're gonna do that kind of video. It'd be cool to have the GoPro going while we did it. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Tell you something you can find on Amazon. It only costs about $10 or $15. They have mounts that you can put a GoPro on a Picatinny rail. So you could have it on your AR or something, or anything with a Picatinny rail, and capture either facing you, shooting an AR or a rifle, or down range. Yeah, I've got one. You just slap it on a Picatinny rail, boom, done. Hook it up. So that only costs like $10 or $15 on Amazon. That could be some cool footage as well.
I'm gonna have to check that out because we got another series that we haven't started, but we kind of got the idea for it, and we'll be using the GoPro for that series. But I have it on my helmet. But I'll probably do some different shots with it on the rifle too. So that's a good idea, man. I appreciate it. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go, man, and get to the rest of your evening. I really appreciate your time.
Anytime, brother.
And we'll hook up again and do this.
We gotta get you on mine sometime,
Let me know, man. Hit me up. If I didn't put my phone number in the IG message, I'll shoot you my number so you got my number.
Let me know.
We'll do that. We'll link up, man.
You got it.
All right. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate you, man.
Peace out.
Junior out.